Actually, Connor is a Dragonborn, not his character.
Connor
himself is an actual Dragonborn.
That makes more sense.
Throw up, bitches.
Welcome to the second part. I guess it's technically part 4, but the second half of our special episodes where we are testing what has come to be called the Arthur Tabletop Universe, or as I like to think of it as the On the Tabletop Cinematic Universe. Either way, it's going to be a lot of words. We're testing it. Cotton has given me her vote on yes or no, and not surprisingly, it's more complicated than a binary choice for her, so she is not here now. Theoretically, she will join us in an hour. However, I've been doing this for a while, and I would place extremely high, better than average odds that Pondo will turn her alarm off so that she sleeps through the show. She is supposed to join us after the first hour. I'm still placing those odds on Pondo turning that alarm off. Yeah, let me see. So it doesn't work as well without Cotton here, but let me get through my intro. This morning I woke up and I saw a tweet from Jesse Cox that says, just a tweet about waking up at 3:53 a.m. to the existential dread of being in your 30s, never finding the person you're meant to spend your life with, second guessing all your past relationships, and fearing your lonely decline to the grave. Now, see, the thing is, I immediately thought, damn, this is going to be a really good intro to On the Tabletop. But then I remembered all of the On the Tabletop members either have kids or are married or are dating, and I'm the only one that's in their 30s spending their life alone, so it's actually not that good. And then I thought, surely it will work on some other show, but guess what? It actually doesn't. Because other than Atomic, I think I'm the only member of my cast that isn't in a committed relationship who's also in their 30s, and Atomic's also not 30. So yeah, this is a bitter, hurtful tweet for me. It drives deep.
It's supposed to be a difficult time to date as well. You know? That Tinder app is kind of.
I have to tell you, Connor, it's always a difficult time to date when you hate all of human life.
Sure.
You're disappointed by everyone.
But then you're not disappointed because you never really give yourself the opportunity to hope. Right?
I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what to say to that.
Never give yourself opportunity to hope. Wow.
That meme where it's like that last bit of hope that was lost when the man who realized he thought he had no hope left to lose.
I'm sorry, Connor. I've been disappointed by my peers in the human race for pretty much my entire life, and at some point I just gave up. Meanwhile, we still have a show to run. Mick Comiker, hopefully you have something to pull us out of the grave humor that I'm shoveling out here.
Have I told you the story about teaching my daughter to drive? Because I have
Isn't your daughter super young?
Happy, lovely family who will keep me company in my declining years.
I don't know how old your daughter is, but I'm pretty sure.
She is 14.
Oh, for some reason I thought she was like half that age.
No,
okay.
No, she's 14. Yeah.
14 seems a little young to be teaching how to drive, but not outside the realm of expertise.
I mean,
that's country driving.
Yeah, a lot of like 14-year-olds around here already have hardship license because of the,
I agree that teenagers are a hardship. Yes,
they are. But I was teaching her to drive at the mall.
Left and right. Tonight, I'm on fire, but it's grave fire. It's like dark, cold fire. 14, teaching her to drive. Can't wait for her to get into her first accident, right?
Exactly. Well, I'm teaching her to drive at the mall for a couple reasons. It has like lanes so she can get used to that spatial awareness. It's empty because everything's still shut down. And there's a couple of good food places right there. So when we're done with driving, lunch is readily available.
I've also been practicing driving. Yeah.
Sideswiped for the first time today, which was super exciting because like I think everyone needs that brief moment of panic where they're like, this is it. This is how I go. And it's better that you have that very early in your driving career so that later on when it happens again, she'll be like, oh, wait, I've already survived this once.
Mick, I want to tell you a story. I was a Domino's pizza delivery driver for over 50,000 deliveries. I also went to a defensive driving course for a 3-day course on how not to die. The people teaching it are ex-CIA and Secret Service. And they're like, all right, let's go 90 miles an hour on a wet pad, and then I'm going to yank the steering wheel as far left as it will go in half a second. Recover the car from this using your training. And then they make you do that a dozen times in a row. But wait, it gets so much worse. When your turn is over, you shuffle to the back seat, and one of the two people that were in the back seat go to the front so that you get to experience the passenger experience to this over and over again. More times than when you're the driver, actually. So, my worst accident, I've never been in an accident I've caused, with the one exception of one time I skid off the road on a hard corner in Falling Waters, West Virginia. The whole road was basically just ice. But accident somebody else almost caused me to be in. New Jersey Turnpike, driving north. Fuck you, Connor. I hate New Jersey. Guy goes, so I'm driving a Honda Accord. The Honda Accord I just sold, actually. He's going past me at... I'm doing the speed limit. All right. So he zooms past me about 15, 20 miles an hour faster than I'm going. I'm like, okay, this is going to be fine. He's speeding. He's doing some illegal shit, but that's fine. The problem is when his front left tire exploded almost directly in front of me. He's in a left-hand lane. The whole car turns, and now he's driving backwards in my lane in front of me.
What?
Faster than I'm driving forwards. And then he puts the brakes on. So now I am rapidly approaching the front end of a vehicle much larger than mine. I immediately swerve to the right, but guess what? This motherfucker swerves to his left, which is also my right. So now I'm like, I'll just go on the off-road. He's like, I'll go on the off-road too. So I'm slamming my brakes on. He's slamming his brakes on. Our vehicles are moving like this. And I just want to say, I'm fucking thankful that I had a driving school to teach me to have literally cat-like reflexes. Because if like, we were at the point where I could see his fear. I could absorb it through our front windshields. I know we're laughing about this now. Here's the end of that story. Eventually, he got control of his car, flipped it end for end, and shifted to the other lane again. Then he parked and stopped, and he and his passengers were having a discussion. So I stopped about a quarter mile away, and when my heart rate got down enough that I thought I could get out the car without killing him, I walked back and was like, hey, how's it going, guys? They were 100%, all of them were on drugs. And I immediately called the police as soon as they got back in their vehicle, and the cops were like, yeah, we'll be there in about 2 hours. And I was like, okay, this is a New Jersey Turnpike. We just passed under an underpass. There's got to be a traffic camera here. So what I'm saying, Mick, is that while you can teach your daughter to drive, you can't teach her. Send her to a goddamn survival course. BSR has them all over the country. Find something. It's going to be the best. Listen, my mom says it's the best money she ever spent on me. She also sent me to college. Still thinks that's the best money she ever spent on me.
I mean,
she sent me to 2 years of college. Not the same.
I've been in a lot of accidents, most of which were my fault, and that sounds like a really good idea.
I don't know what being in an accident that is your own fault is like.
It's like, oh, god damn it, I did something stupid again.
Yes.
Well,
Again.
All I could say is that if you can afford the spare cash, go to fucking driving school. 100%. Send your kid there, beat into them that their life is precious and that they should absolutely sacrifice the person in the passenger seat for control. You think I'm joking? That's like the number one, the sweet tip. You can't drive the car if you're dead.
that is a very good point.
Put the passenger between you and the oncoming vehicle if you have a choice. That was the first and last lesson that they taught us. Can't survive if you're dead. Well, Mick, I'm sorry to have derailed you with my crazy, but absolutely, sometimes, especially if Pond was around, I exaggerate stories, especially if Pond was around. That one, I may have actually under-exaggerated it because it was fucking terrifying. And it did take me a surprisingly long amount of time to decide not to kill that guy. I was in a murderous rage in my car when I was like, wow, I could have died. This dumbass could have killed me. And both of my evasion techniques were blocked by him.
I mean, maybe he went to like an offensive driving school. Like he knew, and he was like, "I've got a counter for that."
He countered your counter.
Offensive driving school. That is the best thing I've ever heard. Oh.
It's standard operating procedure here in Jersey.
My father, okay, so Sid says my father actually did that sort of thing to me when I was learning to drive in the winter, saved my life. I agree. I think a professional should do it, but maybe you, Mick, you need to take your daughter and put her in situations where you've had accidents and be like, now get out of this one, honey.
Listen, I'm going to set it up for you, and now you have to fix the problem.
Here's where my third arrest ticket was for. Avoid this accident. We're going to rerun the simulation until you get it right. You got anything else going on, Mick?
No, I do not.
Okay. Rob Shepard. I have to space your name out because I really want to call you Rob Shepard. I did it earlier this week and now I can't get it out of my head.
Thank you very much for that. That's all right. At least it's not Rob Sheephart.
I don't know. I think Rob Shepard is actually the worst.
Yeah. What do I got going on? I don't have anything going on. So you know I deliver Domino's, don't you? Because that's the first time
I know you did a delivery job. I didn't know it was Domino's.
Yeah, it's Domino's. So when you said that, it caught my attention.
50,000 deliveries, yes.
I wonder how many I've done. I've probably done maybe 2,000.
When you hit 50,000, they'll let you know.
Yeah, they will let me know?
Yeah, they'll give you a plaque.
Wow.
Mine's still up in a Falling Waters, West Virginia gas station.
How many years were you there?
More years than I should have been. One day, my manager pissed me off really bad, and I said, this can't be my life anymore. I'm going back to college. And then the next day, I applied and went back to college. And after 2 years of that, I got a scholarship that paid for the rest of my college. And I was very happy to never deliver Domino's again. Because I had to work while I was in college at the Domino's in Potomac State, West Virginia. And that was a nightmare because I didn't know the local roads. And they would force you to deliver in the middle of blizzards and snowstorms. But the whole school is built on the side of 2 mountains.
Wow.
Look it up on a map, Connor. I know you're saying 2 mountains. The school is built on the side of 1 mountain. The only road through the entire area is the valley road that runs between the mountain on the other side. There's no flat land in the vicinity. The closest piece of flat land is a prison 14 miles to the north.
And
in
they
Maryland.
probably weren't getting that many pizzas, huh?
People love getting pizzas, especially when there was a fucking blizzard.
Yeah, they don't want to have to go out and
that was the day that I decided to quit driving Domino's, is when I was going downhill and I realized that my brakes would not stop me and my car kept sliding down and down and down and down and down. And the next morning I said, I'm never delivering in this condition again. Like, you can't send us out like this. And he was like, I'll send you out whenever I want to. And I was like, no, I quit.
Wow. I am definitely spoiled in San Diego because I cry when there's rain, but it's even when it rains, it's not a lot of
rain. Jesus. Oh my God.
I hate rain. It's so
Try
horrible.
delivering in the backwoods of West Virginia. Listen, I'll give you my worst Domino story. There are 3 campsites that all had the similar name. First part was the same, and the second part changed. And so every year around the summertime, every dumbass in existence would move out there, smoke a bunch of weed, drink a bunch of alcohol, and forget which campsite they were at. And so the people at the call center for, the front desk of the Domino's also didn't give a shit because they were teenagers who weren't being paid enough. And so the number of times I went to the wrong campsite was incredibly high. And it was very frustrating. And even when you got there, people would be like, I paid over the phone. And I'd be like, that's impossible. Literally cannot pay over the phone at our store.
They tried that, huh?
Yeah. Wow. Sometimes I prepaid in the store and I'm like, no.
You know, the other things that I'm spoiled on is like, you know, pretty much everyone orders online now. And I've got the new Domino's GPS app where it puts the address in for me.
Oh
and nine times out of the 10, with a push of a button, it loads up to my maps correctly, and off I'm going.
God, that must be. Listen, back when I was delivering, Map GPS involved having to buy a Garmin and like $120 a year subscription service.
And it wasn't that good. It sucked.
Yeah, it did suck. Yeah, and you could only keep part of the country loaded into it. You had to choose between East or West Coast America.
Wow.
We've come a long way, Rob.
The GPS on the Apple is so good that it will take me to the correct building in a large apartment complex. So all I have to find anymore is just the front door.
God, I bet the tips there are probably pretty good too.
Tips are pretty good. I'm making good money. That's why I'm not rushing out. So yeah. I mean, I'm making good enough money that I was okay for a year dropping graphic design. You know, and I will be getting back into graphic design because I've had my year and a half off. But I was okay. I was making more money consistently doing the delivery than I was doing graphic design.
I'm about to date myself, but I remember when we started at Domino's doing the 5-5-5 deal, and now that's pretty much the only thing they offer. That's like their cornerstone deal, almost a decade and a half later.
Yeah, we've got it's called the mix and match now. But they're like, shh, don't tell anyone.
It's everywhere on the website. It's the first. It's the first thing that shows up online.
This is why they're hypocrites. They're like, you know, hey, don't tell customers about this, but they put advertising up for it all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the difference between you're probably at a franchise then.
I am part of a franchise.
Yep. Yeah. And the owner wants to make as much money as possible, but Domino's corporate doesn't give a shit because they're going to get their cut anyway.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Rob, I'm glad we got to have this discussion. How's the rest of your week going?
The rest of the week's going good. I've been working on a commission yesterday.
Yeah, I was there.
I brought up, and then I know I'm struggling with it, but because it's not just a character shot. I actually have to draw the environment in perspective. So I'm,
yeah. There's a lot of people that struggle with that. I don't think that you're alone.
It's hard. It's hard because even though I know the rules, thank you, man. Even though I know the rules, it just doesn't look right on paper. And I'm like, wait, but I know the rules are correct. So, it's a matter. I think it's all about knowing where to put the vanishing points. You got to put them out far enough and it looks more realistic. But anyway, so yeah, struggling with that a little bit. Learning learning, what's the Blender again after many years.
Oh, yeah? I want to try and pick that up again.
Oh my God, it is so good. That application is phenomenal. So if you really want to do 3D, you don't even have to buy commercial product anymore. This thing is that good.
Right.
I mean, Blender was really good when I stopped you. Like last time I installed it, it was like way better than it had been. Yeah. And it was really good even then. Like I probably haven't used it in like 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a slow development path. It's been great, any of the 2.x versions, and they're on 2.8, but it's pro quality now. I mean, the interface is fantastic. The things it can do is fantastic. I mean, I've never had it crash on me. I mean, it's super stable. I love it. It's a great 3D program. And I only use it for 3D. It does video compositing, which I've never even touched, but it's supposed to be really good doing that too. So it's pretty amazing. And it's free. Oh my gosh. So that's what I've been doing. Tonight I'll just be drawing an Etten. So two-headed giant type.
Yes, but do they hate each other?
Yes, they bite each other's ears.
Wow.
You remember every time I see an Etten, I always remember the Popeye cartoons when they were fighting the Etten. Do you remember that one at all?
Nope, not even slightly.
All you guys are too young for that. Anyway, it was good. But those two heads were punching each other in the face and stuff. It was pretty fun. Always loved the Popeye cartoons.
I think I do remember that. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Listen, don't underestimate my ability to watch old shit When I was a teenager, I'd skip school so that I could watch MASH marathons. I will watch old shit. Speaking of old shit, did you just see that Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 are getting a master re-release on PlayStation 4 this September? Listen, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 and Gran Turismo 2 were my fucking life as a kid. I learned how to drive via Gran Turismo 2. A 3-door Honda Civic hatchback was my car of choice. And then your mom had
to send you to defensive driving school to teach you how to drive correctly after that.
Listen, she was insistent. I was like, no, I don't want to go. I don't need to go. And I left and I was like, I've seen some real shit. I would have died. That shit was scary. They were like, we're gonna do donuts real quick. Bring the car back under control after we do a donut at 110 miles an hour. And I'm like, what? And they're like, go!
That sounds awesome. I will say that.
Oh, Connor, probably at our age now it would be awesome. When you're a teenager, the shit is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, no, it still sounds horrific.
And again, I want to remind you that for every second you spend up front doing what you consider awesome shit, you spend 2 seconds in the back seat having to watch someone else do that awesome shit and fail at it a bunch of times while you go, and wonder if the back of the car has rear deployment airbags.
Oh, that's pretty amazing. I can't imagine that working today. I mean, the liability is just huge.
No, I mean, they're very good at what they do.
Wow.
You know, they have the tandem driver setup, you know, where the guy on the front has a right-hand side control set as well. That's how they put you in those shitty situations. Yeah. And they're trained to override the driver's controls and bring you out of it.
I mean, you've got to sign away your soul, though, right? To say, hey, I could die. And
oh, for sure, you have to sign a waiver.
Wow. Okay. So that was it for me. Who's up? Connor?
Connor's up. Connor's over here drawing his character for tonight.
Yep.
He's drawing a dashing dragonborn fuckboy, I guess.
What?
Yeah, this guy, look at him. He's there. He's like, yeah, that's right. Yes. I am gonna use this character for tonight. I probably have a deep bass rumble that's been added in by sound effects afterward.
I think you pigeonhole my character. What if I came out and he was super goofy?
Look at him. Yeah. He's about to give the ladies that eyebrow, okay? Look at him.
Is that what we're going to see tonight when you start playing? He's just going to be goofy?
No, he's probably just going to be...
I specifically designed this character so that if Connor wanted to play a silent or small talking character, that he could turn to one of his allies or compatriots and like say something and they would cover for him. Because I know Connor wants to be the strong silent type.
I guess. Well, I mean, all the JRPG protagonists, they're all just, most of them are just absolutely silent.
Right? I would contest you in every way possible. The people you're talking about are like Link from Legend and Zelda. You gonna tell me that Cloud is a silent protagonist?
He's quieter. I was thinking more
of... The very beginning of the game, he's a depressed mental escape patient. He literally just got out of jail after being tortured for 5 years.
He's still pretty quiet, though.
I'm by like 2 hours in. He's like, I hate everything, but also I'm willing to high five you.
Okay, so you have to go back a little bit further.
All right, sure. Barrett, also quiet... protagonist, also a main character of the game. He's literally out here singing.
Yeah, but...
Okay. Final Fantasy VIII, the character. All right, no, I'll hand it to you for Final Fantasy VIII. That guy does not talk that much.
But also, like SNES JRPGs, like all those ones.
SNES JRPGs.
Yeah.
Chrono Trigger.
Besides Chrono Trigger, he's pretty tough.
Name one JRPG besides Chrono Trigger.
What's the acronym you're using?
JRPG, Japanese RPG. It's the style of storytelling. But also usually a combat system. Every Final Fantasy game besides 8.
I mean, the first thing that pops into my mind is Suikoden. So that character literally just never talks aside from a few like drop down menu moments.
All right. That's what you got. Suikoden.
Yeah, that's my go-to.
Okay.
That's actually the first RPG that I played successfully. So.
Oh, I want to ask what you've played unsuccessfully, but
What was that, like Shining Force? I tried picking that up one time.
Force?
It was too
The
complicated for me.
Firefighter?
The Firefighter. No, Shining Force like 3. It's like a strategy game.
No, I see it now.
For like Nintendo.
All
it was
right,
too
I'm gonna
complicated for me
find.
at the time.
It might not be called Shining Force, but it's definitely from Phantasy Star Online. The cross collab they did with the firefighters.
I don't know that one.
Burning Rangers, that's what they were called.
Well, that stuff got nothing to do with Shining Force. Shining Force is a big series.
So is Burning Rangers.
Okay, I've never heard of it.
Don't worry. Their collab with Phantasy Star Online was incredible.
I'll take your word for it.
They had the greatest theme song of all time, Connor. I'm gonna send it to you. Like midway
Nice.
through the song, they just start singing randomly. You're in the middle of a firefight. Everything is on fire in this game, which is something that doesn't happen except in this collaboration. And then suddenly some guy starts singing Japanese rock to you, and you're like, "Oh my god, this is the coolest!" But then you have to rerun the mission 50 times because it's Phantasy Star Online and it's all about farming.
Never played any of that series, so I don't. Is it all about farming?
I want you to imagine that your entire life is based off of a tiny floating larva that follows you around and becomes stronger. It's like a Pokemon that never attacks. You equip it and it gives you stats, but it just kind of floats there and waits for you to find other larvae to merge with it to make it stronger.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds like the kind of
It's
start
weird.
to a game where you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna have to grind the shit out of this.
It's like Jade Cocoon, but weirder.
Jade Cocoon was weird. It was good. I remember
Jade
that game.
Cocoon was incredible, but also very weird.
Yeah, it's different.
It's weird.
I don't know. I didn't feel like it was weird at the time, but maybe.
For a game for teenagers, they're like, you have a wife. Your wife is slowly dying. Every time you bring her back something to purify, she dies faster. Now, in order to save her life, you must doom yourself for all eternity. That was a fucking dark storyline for a 15-year-old, man.
I guess, yeah. I don't remember the storyline, so it made less of an impression on me than it
Damn it,
did you,
Connor.
I suppose.
I'm sorry it can't be as good as Suikoden for you.
Yeah. It's gotta have one of those rockin' theme songs like Wild Arms. That had a great theme song.
Ooh, Wild Arms 2. I never played Wild Arms, but I played the shit out of Wild Arms 2. And the anime intro to that, every time you got further along your save file, the intro sequence of the game changed.
I didn't play 2, so
Ooh, you're missing out.
okay. Yeah, I should check it
The
out.
main
I never
character's
finished
first
one, so,
ability in like his Wild Arms form is called like Hot Fencer or something. It's so weird. He literally just stabs people with a flaming sword.
what else? do you
Legend
want?
of the Dragoon, Connor. There we go. There is a famous JRPG where the character can't shut the fuck up.
I didn't play that.
You didn't play Legend of the Dragoon? I never
Yeah,
beat
that's
it, but I played it many times.
It's one of those classic ones I never really got around to.
Look, we should do a co-op game of Legend of the Dragoon where you play and I commentate.
Okay.
I have it, so
That sounds amazing.
That's one of those like early 3D ones, right?
oh my god. I would just like the whole time I would just be like, oh, I'm gonna say something that for everyone else that beat the game, they know it's spoilers, but Connor will never realize it's foreshadowing.
Right.
Rose, she's such a great friend. Rose is fantastic. She'll never betray you.
Well, if you lay it on that bit, I think it might be a little bit obvious.
Oh, Rose. She definitely didn't kill your father.
Spoilers. Jeez.
The game is 20 years old, Connor. Jesus.
And we're talking about going back and playing it.
Yeah, but you're never going to agree to that. You're too busy.
Yeah.
I can't even get you to draw a cybernetic smoke jaguar. Connor,
Dad
you're a
already-
man who's working with a Kickstarter. In fact, to my recollection, this week your Kickstarter just released one with stretch goals: murder elves having sex.
It was pretty great. It was a lot of fun to draw.
I remember you smiling while you were drawing it.
I like both of those things.
Murder elves and having sex? That's a bold statement from you, Connor Hughes. I'm going to put that one in the quote bot.
All right, go for it. I mean, who doesn't like that? You know? But yeah, as far as my week goes, it sucked. It was terrible. It was lots of sickness, and I didn't even have the thing that everyone thinks that everyone should have now, or whatever, you know?
Look, you're better off not getting it. They're saying that there's a whole host of neurological and biological after components to it where they're like, yes, your lungs get weaker.
But if I came out the other end fine, then at least I could say I had it, and then everyone would understand. If I'm just sick, like, you don't get
sure.
Right
if
now,
you had it, then you'd have to be
now
locked
you're
in
not
your
cool because you didn't have it.
well, because
you'd have to be locked in your house for 14 days so you don't spread it to everyone else, Connor. So
Yeah.
be thankful.
Well, I was already basically self-secluding as much as I could, but then I found out, I think it was Thursday, I didn't have it. So that was good. The nasal test that they give you is pretty good. Goes pretty up there. It's not the most comfortable thing.
Yep.
But otherwise, it's pretty quick and painless experience.
Well, that is one way you could describe it.
Yeah. I mean, it was for me. Obviously, everyone else can have a different experience.
They will. It's weird to get something that far up your nose.
Yeah.
All right. We ready to do this thing, Connor?
Sure. Yeah. I
Connor's
got the
going to be here
character.
in like 10 minutes, so...
Right. She can jump in as one of the characters.
I don't want to do that yet. I'm not sure we're ready for that. I don't know that we're at that level.
Okay.
You are insert name here.
I gave you. His name is.
I'm just telling you to say the name now.
Oh, Bazba. His name is Bazba Blackfire.
Bazba Blackfire, Knight. After years of squirehood under the only knight who would take on a dragon man like yourself, you were knighted in the ways of the dwarven people. Accounted a hard man of few words, you have no home to call your own after the Red Crusade forced your people from their lands. Without even a means to strike back at the Empire, you live your days as a wandering monster slayer and have studied the style and forms necessary. Accompanied by your retainers, which include the squire, insert name here.
Pen.
Your scald, insert name here.
Smeggy.
I'm sorry, Smeggy?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to tell everyone that he chose that name when he thought that Mick might have to play someone named Smeggy. And a nameless slave, your squire Pen, your scald Smeggy, and a nameless slave you freed who has chosen to follow you. You set off at the latest report of misdeeds. Your band makes good time on your pack of horses, and after days of travel on what passes for roads through this forest, you find your way to the village of Emersold. The giant trees cast little natural light to the forest floor, except where the villagers have cleared space for their village. And the creatures of the forest are few and far between, staying at the edge of your vision. Something is wrong, however. There's little food in the village, and no merchants have been by in some time. The monster problem has lasted far longer than any along a King's Road should, and the people cannot gather naught but the sanctioned game of the forest without poaching on King's lands. The local magistrate, pressed by a hungry population and the need to keep law and order, grabbed his crossbow and set out to kill the beast himself. That was 2 days before your arrival. Hard-eyed and starving men and women look to even you, a black dragon man, for help. So, I mentioned that your horses aren't horses. They're actually legendary dwarven mountain goats. So why don't you describe what you look like, Sir Blackfire? I don't remember your name already. I forgot because you're just the only one yeah. You're the only one I didn't write down.
It's cool.
Where did you write this down? I can't see it anywhere.
It's on. It's been on my D&D Beyond account.
Okay, well, I'll open that, I guess.
I mean, I can type it into the thing.
No, it's
You
too
don't
late.
have D&D Beyond opened?
Well, I have D&D Beyond open to the entries for the monsters for tonight, but
D&D Beyond. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
man, I heard some people are upset with them.
Oh, really?
Why?
Yeah.
I'm shocked. Shocked to hear that.
Rad was saying something like they sounded really out of touch with how this COVID situation was going down in their recent intros. I don't know. I haven't been watching any of the stuff they do because I'm very upset with them.
Are you talking about Critical Role?
We're talking about Critical Role. There are a lot of people who are mad that they don't just have a second campaign.
Yeah, like we have zero interest in any of this, like
narrative telephone.
Yeah, bonus stuff. Like we watched the first narrative telephone, like, okay, that was fun. Like, what, we're gonna watch it again? Like, I don't. Yeah.
Turns out you're still just as bad at it the second time.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, and like Yeehaw on or off the ranch, never cared.
Yeah, I was never part of that. Sir Blackfire, please describe what you and your legendary mountain goat look like as you ride through the shadow-dappled realm of Emershold. Now fire is everywhere now.
Is fairly humble in appearance. He, you have his face right here, so he's sort of a darker.
Is his eye shining? Is that what we're getting? We're getting that lens flare effect off of his eye.
That's right. That's right.
All right. He's so humble, but he's got that. He's got that eye fire.
Well, I mean, I was also thinking about just making it glowing. But
sorry, Connor. I love it. It's excellent.
Dragon, like dragons glow, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's got dark vision, so he's got to have some weird eye effects going on.
Well, also he's got the fire breath, so he's got some kind of inner like heat source. Anyway,
sure, if that's what you believe. I mean, I'm pretty sure he has acid breath, but okay.
It says black breath weapon black. Anyway, yeah, so he's sort of dark robed. You wouldn't. He doesn't exactly.
It does say. Notice it says it does 2d6 acid damage. You literally vomit acid on people. What you do is not exactly fire.
Then I will change that color at some point.
The color of the acid?
The color of his eye. I think
no,
he's gonna be
leave it. He's got the fake Grand Order altar eyes. It's fine.
Well, he can still have it, but he's gonna have green eyes instead. So
I mean, altar eyes are always yellow, Connor. You can return that eye shine, Connor. I'm telling you, don't take it away from me.
We can still do the eye shine with green.
But you could also do it in the color it is now.
Why not? I mean, why not make it fit the character?
All right, it's your character. I'm not going to tell you how to play him, even if I'm very sad, and I can't believe I ruined this for myself.
There's always possible to, go through different iterations.
Glowing amber eyes are the best or anything. What are the memes for this show? Drows with fangs?
Drows with fangs. Glowing ember eyes.
Yep. That's me, personal, and that's not a joke like Drow with fangs.
So he's going to cast a sort of a wary look over the village.
As he does that, does he make like a noise in the back of his throat, like a Look, I've been watching Gargoyles. I know that when you look over stuff, you have to make a noise.
Oh yeah,
man, definitely. That shit was so good.
It actually holds up surprisingly well.
It does.
At one point, they're going through and looking at stuff on the TV, and Lion King, the point where he holds up Simba, is one of the shows they're watching, and I was like, wow, Disney had self-referential shit down in like the 90s, man.
It was a pretty good show.
All right, sorry. You're looking around, casting a wary eye over the village. Ignoring me.
Yeah, I mean, he's not. He may be a knight, but he's certainly more of a hedge knight than he is kind of a celebrated knight. And he's used to traveling on the side roads. There's more work there, as you may have heard. And yeah, that's him.
Nothing about how tall, how wide. Is his scale mail made out of his actual scales?
No, his scale mail is like
He killed his father and made a scale mill out of his scales.
Underneath the robes, it is kind of shining a little bit brighter underneath because it's well polished. He sort of maintains it well as it's Pan's job to sort of make sure it's looking spotless. So that is a thing he sort of the more military aspects of his gear he's going to take better care of and make sure everything's like looking spick and span.
So Pen grabs your reins and sets out a footstool to help you down from your goat. And Smeggy is already off of his goat and gesturing around and says, "My lord, what a grand village we've arrived in. Yay, I think I see a single barn over there. Mayhaps we might gather food and rest at the local tavern?"
What time is it?
It's hard to tell what time it is.
Mm-hmm.
There is no light but what gets through the top of the trees in this great redwood sequoia fortress. Sorry, not fortress. Forest.
Village.
Yes.
Forest.
I know it must be difficult for a New Jersey boy like yourself, but imagine the great California redwoods, an unending stream of them all across California.
Very difficult to imagine, but I will try. Yeah, I suppose we could find word and a bite to eat about the whereabouts of this alderman.
Smeggy strokes his forked beard, which has been well oiled, and gestures towards a lonely inn with naught but a single lantern out, illuminating a painted wooden plate that says "The Wounded Veteran."
I suppose we'll at least find a happy purchase here for some food.
As eloquent as always, my lord. I will go ahead and secure us rooms.
How long have we been traveling?
Are you asking Smeggy or are you asking me, the game master?
Asking you, the game master.
I just want to be clear because Smeggy's going to answer in a very different way.
Yeah.
I'm trying to imagine Smeggy as a combination of William Shakespeare and Mick. So. You have been traveling for what seems like forever, but it's probably only been about a week deep into this forest.
But I mean today, like how long have we been traveling today?
A long time. Many hours.
All right.
It's your destination, though, so I suppose it doesn't matter how long you've been traveling. It's where you're stopping.
Yes. I'm mainly wondering, like, are we gonna go straight to sleep and then head out in the morning, or are we?
I guess that the question, the answer to that question is, how hard of a dude are you? Do you immediately set out to work, or do you get a good rest before you, get to monster slaying?
No, I think we get a rest in.
All right. So as you open the door, well, I suppose what would actually happen is Pen would open the door for you so that you could enter. You have to duck slightly to get inside because the human construction is too small for a glorious dragon man like yourself. As you rise back to your full height, it is surprisingly warm and dry inside. There are not many tables, and what tables there are have no occupants, but a bartender is shining a glass behind the counter. The man has a weathered face, dark circles under his eyes, and perhaps something that approximates a jowl. But his massive forearms and the sword mounted on a board over the bar indicate that perhaps he is the wounded veteran that the inn is named after. You do see slight points to his ears that indicate elven heritage as he nods to you and says, "Dragon man, welcome. Welcome to my establishment. It's been an age since I've seen your kind."
Thank you. Yeah, we'll have a round for 4, if you please, and we're looking for news about the troubles that's hit this village.
So he sets out some fairly cheap ale and says, "I'm sorry to ask, Sir Knight, but have you the means to pay?"
Of course. What's your price?
For this, 4 coppers.
So I plink down a silver.
Okay.
And I say, and we're looking for rooms for the night.
Ah, you're with the exuberant gentleman from before.
Smeggy? Yes, he does make an impression.
Yes. You said you were looking for 4 rooms, is that correct?
That's correct. If you have them.
What did you say your business is here?
I've heard there's you've had some trouble, and now your alderman has gone missing.
Magistrate.
Magistrate. Right.
Wait here for a moment. He heads back behind the bar and starts rummaging under the counter. Your squire, Penn, is having a conversation in sign language with your nameless slave.
Is it like thieves can't? Or just sign language?
It's sign language.
Okay.
Try Connor. Are you the strong silent type who waits for someone to tell him something? Or are you inquisitive and want to know what's going on? Yes.
Oh, do I recognize the sign language?
Oh, that's a great question.
I mean, if he's using it to communicate with the slave, I would assume that.
I believe that you can make a roll for this.
Okay.
I would accept an insight wisdom check. Oh, I should mention, by the way, that you have inspiration, so you can, before a roll, choose to spend that. 17. Yeah, you've been picking up on the sign language. You know, it's not on your character sheet, so you don't exactly understand every part of it. But Penn seems to be asking him if he's comfortable, and your former slave is indicating that he would have accepted 1 fewer room if it would save the good knight some money.
Yeah, he's not gonna. Bospa doesn't say anything about this necessarily.
Good.
He stays quiet.
Good, Connor. You're falling into your character.
I'll try. One of these days I'll get to it. So Bospa's going to sit down and at the bar, I suppose, wherever.
No, the innkeeper at this point, when you go to stand up to go to the bar, he brings out a bottle of murky, silted alcohol, through which the bottle's color is tan, but whenever the silt flows through the light, you could see a sort of green aurora around it. It's actually really unusual. And he slams the bottle down almost hard enough to break it in between the 3 of you and says, "You're here to solve our problems. Rooms are free. Have a drink with me, Dragon Man." He starts pouring shots for everyone at the table.
I won't say no. We've had a long road. My throat's dry.
Magistrate's a fool.
I try and identify the liquid. Like, what kind of drink is it?
It's a great question. How familiar is Basbo with alcohol?
I would say, given his acid breath, he sort of sees it as a sort of an inspiration for his breath attack.
Okay, then you have heard of this alcohol before. It's sort of reserved for like lords and kings kind of deal. It's made with the leavings of like orichalcum and adamantium magic weapon production. The leftover metal is used in the brewing process in order to fortify alcohols.
So I recognize it as like this is the good stuff.
This is the good stuff that's so good you probably have never been able to afford a glass before.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna like sit back and look impressed at this drink as he tells me as he goes on.
I was a soldier like you before, a long time ago. Settled down here. King's coin, sergeant's pension. Seen the magistrate die. His son took up the call. He's a good man. Was a good man. Not very bright. Not very smart, but around a place like Emir's Hold, you don't have to be. You know what I mean?
You think he's already lost?
It's been 2 days. Fool barely knew how to use that crossbow when he set out. Hasn't been back.
He was the only one who would go out, huh? At least he's brave.
Oh, others went out before. They just didn't come back either. What are we doing here, Rob?
My computer got stuck, and now,
okay,
now
there we
to
go.
Normal. Wow, that was pretty funky. Sorry to interrupt.
It was awesome. Just to be clear.
It was
You guys are
flipping.
dancing.
It was flipping horizontally. Yeah, it was stuck. Sorry about
So the innkeeper looks away from Rob and then turns back to the group and says,
that.
"Sorry about that. People are hungry. Magistrate knows order's gonna break down. He knows that we're good folk, most of us. Won't find killings or thievings around here, at least not ones that wouldn't be solved. A private dark of the forest. But with him gone, no one to keep order. Something's out there taking people in the night, hunting them like a beast."
So it comes at night, and it just takes whole people. It leaves nothing.
Aye.
Any kind of tracks of any kind?
Huge
Beast.
tracks.
Like
Massive
claw prints?
claws. Paws larger than a horse's hoof. Claws like knives. Vehicle must weigh more than, or the beast must weigh more than a cart.
When was the last attack?
Well, no one's seen the magistrate. If you mean more than that, outside my inn 4 nights ago.
Who did he take?
Old man Jenkins told the fool to leave with a lantern and a clear mind, but he refused my water, stumbled out into the dark. Home's not but a few thousand feet from here. Aye, but his daughter said he never made it.
So light keeps the beast at bay.
Can't say that myself.
But the lantern was a recommendation.
I would recommend anyone walking at night carry a lantern, unless you're up to no good. At the very least, he would have been able to call out for help before it took him. He looks back to the board with the sword on it above the bar and he says, "If I'd known." Takes a drink and then says, "If I'd only known."
Well, hopefully, either that man 4 nights ago or the magistrate. That'll be the last victim. I'll try.
Good luck to you, sir. He puts the cork into the bottle. Steps up and says, "Rooms are free, as long as you're hunting the thing."
So, to you as a dungeon master, like, do I know if I'll be paid by someone else if the magistrate is?
At the very least, you would go to the next city down and say, "Here's my proof. I killed the thing. The magistrate's dead."
Okay.
You know, it's a hard life as a monster slayer. Sometimes you have to put up with some real shit.
Yeah.
Might I point you to The Witcher 3 and some of the quests where you're like, what? I have to do this, and then this, and then this just to get paid for killing a Striga?
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Familiar. I'm very familiar. Yeah. All right.
Well, no one's offered to play a card game with you yet, so at least you dodged that. Your Squire Penn is looking at you for instructions, or at the very least, he wants to gather some of your wisdom. whether you dispense that or not, or you just stare at him cold and hard.
I'm going to show him by getting up and sort of inspecting the site where the old man Jenkins was taken, with a lantern or with the torch, whichever is more readily available.
I think you have dark vision as a Dragonborn.
Yeah, but I think I've learned.
You also don't want to get murdered in the middle of the night. I understand.
There's that, but also you have disadvantage with perception checks, even with dark vision in the dark.
Do you have a lantern or a torch on your inventory sheet?
I will check. Yeah, I have 10 torches. So I light one up, strike one up, and I inspect the site.
Make an investigation check in the flickering darkness.
Will do. $19.
That's pretty good. That's
pretty
better
good.
than I expected.
Yeah, considering my like +1, possibly at best. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So you notice at least 3 things happening here. The old man fell down at some point and was on his knees getting up. You can see it in the kind of dust and dirt. Now, of course, the whole scene has had people walking around, looking at the area. But even throughout that, you notice a second set of tracks. Huge pawed claws. Maybe 2-3 hand lengths long. Massive beast. Much larger than a man. Perhaps not the size of an elephant, but quite long. Heavy, too. Deep and heavy.
Well, do I recognize the tracks at all?
Make a nature check.
If I have, I think I get some kind of bonus with this. If favorite enemy, if you have advantage with survival checks to track your favorite enemies, isn't it?
Sure. What's your favorite enemies?
It's a beast.
Okay, it is a beast.
All right.
You get advantage.
All right. 23.
23. You recognize this as the claws of a brown bear.
Okay.
Such animals are rare in these parts. Very rare. And certainly, it's much more rare for them to attack humans.
Yeah, this is like sort of one of those man-eating bears that happens.
It's got the taste for blood.
It's like that. Who's that? The movie set in the Serengeti with. Oh, forget me. Never mind.
I am
Val
forgetting.
Kilmer and Michael Douglas.
Val Kilmer, Michael Douglas. That's right.
What movie?
Heart of Darkness.
Heart of Darkness. No, I don't. That's the book.
That's not Heart of... What?
No, this is a.
Is
a
it
movie.
Heart of Darkness, the making of the Vietnam movie?
No, I think it's the same, isn't it?
Heart of Darkness is a different thing entirely. That was a book like a long time ago. This movie is based on real events where 2 man-eating lions were attacking a British camp, and they were literally killing people like all over the place. And they had like tactics, and they outsmarted the traps that this guy set for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they made a movie out of it. Anyway.
Heart of
Just like
Darkness 100% is the documentary of the making of the movie about Colonel Kurtz.
But Heart of Darkness is also like a pretty reasonably famous novel, I thought.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is it's the novel that movie is based off of. It's about Colonel Kurtz.
Okay, yeah.
Who goes native and decides to just become a warlord in the middle
The Ghost in the Darkness, that's what it is.
Ghost in the Darkness, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Sorry about that.
you identify that this is a man-eating bear.
Okay.
There's one more thing that you notice.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond just the bear, there are tracks for something as large as you, but instead of clawed feet, it has toes. It also came and analyzed this site as well, just like you're doing right now.
Mm-hmm. So when I discovered that, I'm going to go back into the bar. If the bartender's still awake and around, I'm going to ask him, has anyone else been looking into this besides the magistrate?
Well,
anyone with
folks
clawed
say
feet?
that there are things in the night You're the only. Well, just to be clear, they don't have clawed feet. What I was saying is, you're the only person you know that has clawed feet. These have large human-like feet compared to yours.
Okay, large human-like feet that don't look. These are extra large human feet.
Yes.
Okay. Like a
The
giant.
creature bearing these feet must be 6 to 7 feet tall.
Can I try? Can I back up and try to identify those tracks?
Yes, it will require survival, and you don't get advantage on this one
Yeah.
because you don't have favored enemy mortal
19.
beings. 19. You identify these as orc tracks.
Okay, so I go back into the bar and ask, is there an orc perhaps also looking for this beast?
No orcs around here. Have you seen one?
Well, I might be mistaken, but I see some tracks that look like an orc.
Is the orc the killer then? I can round up a group of men to go with you.
I don't believe so. I think it's a black bear or a brown bear.
He gives you a hard stare for a moment, taking your measure, and says, "Very well, Master Monster Slayer. I'll trust your word."
I don't know for sure. All I know is there are two tracks. You say that this is a beast. It seems likely that it could be the bear, but it could all. I mean, I'm not guaranteeing that it's not the orc either. They could be working in tandem. I don't know enough information from the tracks.
I want to listen. Connor just left his character and became Connor Hughes.
Sorry.
That's what it sounds like. He's forgotten all about the character. Listen,
He's
we
forgotten
got a
all
problem
about
to
the
solve.
stoicness,
Can't
the
be
minimal
playing
talking.
around.
He's like, look, I can't guarantee. It could be this or it could be that. They're both
But-
equally likely, but I'm going to go with Beast because that's what I'm good at, okay? I'm not going to argue with you, bartender, but look, just for argument's sake,
Sorry about that.
look, it's your character. You play
no,
him
but
how
you're-
you
no,
want.
you're
I just
right,
want to
though,
know
you're right.
your tendency to fall out of the character type you want to play.
Yeah. No, that's good. It's good to call me out too.
I almost got Nero back into the not talking thing for a while. I don't know if you watched the latest episode, but I got to kill a lot of shit.
I gotta catch up.
Boy, it's
catch
really
up.
good. They were like, okay, well, you deal 80 damage in one round. And I was like, yes.
Nero's a badass.
I mean, just for Nero's sake, 15 damage is the amount of damage that Nero can take. So 80 damage is a lot of Nero's.
Was it an explosion?
Only insofar as my gun fires rockets.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I remember you getting that. Okay.
So, yeah, he nods and says, so you're not sure whether it's the orc or whether it's the bear, but you want to believe that it's the bear.
I first spotted the beast. Those tracks, they were more readily apparent. Those were the first things that became apparent as to what actually made the attack. I just simply know that there are other, possibly orc-like tracks that are around, but they didn't show violence, the same violent tendencies that the bear tracks showed. So I'm gonna set Pan to like keep a alarm or like keep a watch, but not so
Okay.
much that he's exhausted the next day.
I mean, he's either awake or he's not awake.
Right. I want like during like the most likely time that this thing attacks, I want to he keeps watch. So for like the 2 hours.
Okay. What 2 hours are those?
I'm gonna guess that they are. If the guy was heading home, I would say between 10 and 12.
Okay. Now we know what hours Connor hits home from the bar from. Learned a lot
I'd
about
say-
Connor today.
In a rural village. Well, okay, all right.
There are
can think-
bars in West Virginia that are open until 2 or 3 a.m. So
That's modern life. That's completely different than like a medieval fantasy
Oh,
village.
are you arguing with the DM about how his own world works, Connor?
No,
Well,
this is Connor's scenario. The world works how Connor wants it to work.
No. Okay. But he
No,
didn't,
10
he
to
didn't
12,
say,
that's fine. Yes.
He didn't say that. That's how. If that's how you want This
No, your boy Penn will take a nap until 10 o'clock when the nameless slave will wake him up, and then he will go on guard duty for those hours before heading to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And you're heading off to Dreamland yourself now?
I suppose, unless there's any other business to attend to.
All right, then we get that Final Fantasy in music. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Right. So good.
You wake up in the morning. You're up first. Smeggy is completely out, and when you go to his room, the door is open, and there are 2 bottles beside his bed. One of them, it seems like he pissed back into. Penn is fast asleep on his bed, and your nameless former slave is seated in a chair. His eyes are open, but you know that he sleeps like that.
Mm-hmm.
The bartender seems like he's around and moving, but hasn't finished making breakfast yet.
All right. Well, I'm going to shake Pan up and then instruct him to get everyone else up as I make my way down and prepare myself for the day by dressing and so forth.
Okay.
I'm going to ask Pan if he saw anything, but assume since he didn't say anything that he didn't find anything.
Are you waking Pan up?
Yeah, I already. Yeah, I will.
Okay, yeah. Pan, and he wakes up and he goes, "Oh, yeah, Sir Knight. Yes, of course. I didn't see anything at all."
All right. Well, I suppose we'll make our tracks today. So get ready.
Okay, I'll have the mountain goats armored and ready to go.
And so I guess in that case that Baspa is also going to wake up the slave and Smiggy.
Okay. Yep.
Well, okay. So then when we make our meal, Basba will ask the innkeeper which direction the magistrate headed off into, and see if they line up in any kind of way with the tracks of the bear.
Yeah. I mean, the magistrate set out in a direction, and the bear generally moves in that kind of way, but you lose the tracks of the bear shortly afterwards. Right, it just enters into a less hard-packed forest area.
Mm-hmm.
I will allow you to make another survival roll to try to track it. Of course, you still have advantage on this. And the reason for this is it's now been 3 days since that attack. So
right.
Wow, both ends of the spectrum.
Yep.
I guess you're really glad that you had advantage on that, huh?
Sure am.
Natural 1 and a natural 20.
Good thing somebody built my character really nicely for this event.
Well, we're just gonna skip over one of the whole combat scenarios here.
No.
So yeah, so you followed the tracks perfectly. I feel like maybe there's times where you get down off of the goat and you like get down on both knees and one hand and like sniff and smell the beast to follow it. You cut across rivers. At one point, you see a lone boar, but your senses prickle at the edge, and you know that boars never hunt alone. And at that point, you see that there are 2 other boars with it hiding in the brush, trying to bait you in. And you simply avoid the situation rather than get trapped into a boar fight. So there's that combat scenario.
Right.
It was going to be awesome, Connor, but don't worry about it.
And here I am without a spear. I mean, I'd be screwed.
You can fight boars without a spear.
You need a boar spear to fight a boar.
Well, that much is definitely true. A boar spear does help it fighting a boar.
Otherwise, it's gonna drive itself right up your spear, and then it's still gonna attack you.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Game of Thrones.
That's right. So in the process of doing that, he's Baspo is gonna show Pan like how he went about noticing the boar.
Oh, Pan is just like, incredible, sir. Your senses are simply marvelous.
And so I say, you just don't want to make the same mistake if getting trapped by boars. So try and notice that if you ever encounter this situation.
Of course, sir. I promise that I will do my best to learn everything you have to teach me.
So yeah, Bosma tries to make it a learning moment.
Pan does everything he can to suck up to you. Whether he's learning or not is pretty questionable. Whether he's starstruck by you is unquestionable.
Okay. Bosma is on like he doesn't care about that kind of thing.
He's not flapped. He's unflappable rather than flappable.
Unflappable, okay. Yeah, unflappable.
He's inflammable rather than flammable.
Yeah, he's probably inflammable too. I don't know. Does he have? No.
Oh
he
my god, Connor. Inflammable and flammable mean the same thing.
I'm just checking to see if he has.
You don't have fire resistance. You have acid resistance.
Acid resistance. All right.
Because you're a black dragon and you spit acid.
Right.
I was waiting for anyone to mention that inflammable and flammable were the same thing, but apparently I'm the only Boy Scout here.
Yeah, nope, no Boy Scout for me.
I mean, I knew they were the same thing, but I wasn't going to interject.
Wait, flammable and inflammable are the same thing?
Yeah,
Yes,
they're
they
the
are.
same thing.
Yep.
What do you mean?
They are words that have the same definition.
Yeah.
If something is flammable, it means it can be set on fire. If it's
Correct.
inflammable,
Inflammable also means something that can be set on fire.
Yeah.
And there
What?
is no
No.
word unflammable. That is not a word in the English language.
Yeah. Just like Connor, listen, English is a crazy language. You're never going to be able to come to grips with it because its very nature goes against your nature. So you just need to accept it and move on.
I'm looking this up. Well, there is non-flammable, which means not easily ignited.
Yes, that's
But
correct. It's not
inflammable-
unflammable. It's non-flammable.
Yeah, flammable and
Inflammable.
inflammable, same thing.
Oh, only with Connor could I have this discussion.
So inflammable is easily set on fire. Well, that's very important to know. Because I thought inflammable things means they couldn't be set on fire.
Oh, wow, Connor, you would have been in a very dangerous situation. Wow, this coat says it's inflammable. Well, all right then. Let me go roll around in the fire for a moment. We can use this to escape the situation. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. That would be a terrible situation. I'm glad you learned about the inflammability of inflammable.
Right. Yeah, it's useful information.
Connor, did you know that dough also rhymes with slow?
I did.
Even though both spellings of dough do not match with slow, which only has one spelling. Welcome to the English language, my friend.
Yep. It's a funny business.
I mean, anytime you set out into the world, putting one foot in front of the other, it's funny business, my boy.
That reference I'm unaware of.
It's Bilbo Baggins.
Really? I thought it was close, but
Well, I'm sorry I didn't get it exact. I had to bend it into this situation. I'm sorry, Connor. I can't snap them out like a ranger caught off his guard.
but you can. Normally, you're like so spot on that like when it's slightly off, I'm like,
Listen,
well, he
the
must
chat
be
doesn't
referencing
even
something
know
else.
about the Darth Plagueis the Wise thing before the stream. I absolutely nailed it. And I taught Mick about the glory of song.
That was a good song.
Great song. Incredible song. I really want to send Cotton a message like, you up? She's awake, but I feel like that could be misinterpreted so badly. But it would
You
be
think?
funny.
I don't know. I wouldn't interpret it any other way than "Are you awake?"
I'm just gonna send her a message that says, "Are you awake?" Connor wants to know. That way I don't take any responsibility for the situation. Perfect.
Perfect.
You come across the scent of the orc. You can smell the warmth of his blood, the stink of his skin. He has tried to hide himself in the smell of the forest, of the leaves, of what little grass and vegetation grows here, of the funguses that cluster in the darkness at the bottom of each tree. But still, there is something unique about him that stands out to your senses. and you know that you are approaching him from behind, and you're fairly certain that he knows that you are there as well.
Okay, so how does this character feel about orcs in general? Like, what is the?
Would you tell me?
How do orcs play into your world?
You tell me.
Are they just like?
You tell me, Connor.
I mean, are we talking Lord of the Rings orcs?
I don't know. You tell me.
Warhammer orcs or Warcraft orcs?
Well, what kind of orcs do you want, Connor?
I don't know. I mean, in general, my default is more in the Lord of the Rings spectrum, but I mean, people like doing the.
Look, Connor,
Warcraft.
It's your scenario.
Okay, but
you tell me how you feel about orcs.
It's your world. It's your.
It's not my world.
It's our world.
It's our world. Yes.
Okay. My apologies. If we're going with quotations, I could say it's my world now, not your world, because I've got friends on the other side. And what I need Mick to do is just go, he's got friends on the other side.
Don't worry about that.
That's just a little thing we got down here in New Orleans called Necco. Yeah, so, that's right. You want me to kill it with the references, Connor? There you go.
I didn't know that one.
You haven't seen The Princess and the Frog?
I haven't.
Ow, it's actually Keith David plays the villain. It's incredible.
Yeah, super good.
Yeah, he does some songs. It's really good. It's the best thing Keith David has done since The Cape. Wow, things got quiet. Not a Cape fan here, huh? All right.
I haven't seen The Cape either.
Oh boy, if you missed out on The Cape, what can I say about The Cape? It was canceled. Is the thing I could say about The Cape. Keith David was pretty good in it.
So it's like Firefly?
The Cape is a superhero story where a cop...
is that the one that was on NBC like a year or two after Heroes?
Yeah, maybe. It's about a cop who dies in the line of duty, but he's not actually dead. But he has to pretend to be dead to protect his family. He gets a supernatural cape from a criminal circus performers who teach him, because he's the chosen criminal scion prophecy child. They teach him how to use the cape to like extend the cape and cloak himself in darkness and hypnotize people, and so he becomes a crime fighter called the Cape.
It had a Summer Glau, didn't it?
And he tries to solve his own murder. Yes, it did have Summer Glau.
Yeah, I never watched it.
Wow. I guess I haven't heard of her since basically the Cape. She hasn't really been in anything.
I think she
kind of seemed like she was going to be in everything for a while.
Yeah, I think she got busy with a baby or something. And then she stopped acting for a little while. I think she's back now. Because she is very good.
Look at this. We're talking about capes, and here's Connor drawing a cloak with the cloak pin right here.
That's right.
He's erased the cloak 2 times just to make sure he can perfectly get that shoulder going in there. Okay.
Well, I wanted him to have, that bulk in the back, right? So.
Oh, that's what you're about, Connor? You like that bulk in the back, huh? All right. Add that to the list.
Bulk in the back.
All right. I mean, that's a weird way to put it, but sure. Yeah.
I mean, that's no less weird than junk in the trunk.
Junk in the trunk is still pretty weird, man.
Okay, but
I don't know if you lived through the 90s, but it was still weird then, and it's still weird now.
I don't know if it was weird. I don't know. That was never my impression. But
this is easily the most sidetracked scenario we've had so far. With Mick, it was spot on. We were like bam, 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 bam. He was like, "Can I do this?" I was like, "Yes." "Can I do this?" I was like, "Oh, well, you know what? Sheps was 100%. We literally did his whole scenario super smoothly."
Right? Sheps
Connor doesn't even know. Connor wasn't there for when Shep was like, "All right, I'm gonna baseball slide underneath this goat."
I watched after, and that was awesome.
Where Shep was like, "Listen, I'm a terrible role player, so let me completely become my character for an hour and immerse myself in this world seamlessly."
Unlike me, who has
we're terrible at this.
Unlike me, who has to sort of.
Here's Connor. He's still drawing in the middle of the scenario too. That's the best part.
Well, right now we're just chatting. So, okay. So about this orc.
What about him? What do you want to tell me about him, Connor? Is he a Warhammer orc? Is he Lord of the Rings orc? Are orcs friendly? Are they mad?
Again, I think.
Are they happy? Are they glad?
I'm I'm trying to base what my character's experience of what his knowledge of orcs is. But other than that, it's your world. So whether or not the orcs, I mean, there could be bad orcs, there could be loads of bad orcs and still one good orc. So
I would say that you should realize that any answer I give is going to be tempered on my opinion of racial prejudice, which is that humans are fucking awful as a species and only tolerable as individuals.
Well, this is an individual orc, so
Yeah.
we'll
How
see.
do you propose to know about
and-
this
and-
individual orc having never met him? Any racial stereotypes you want me to draw for you? You want to profile this orc based on his
Look,
height?
okay, so
weight,
what about
body
goblins?
type?
You better stop and frisk him, Connor. You don't know what the orc's
Oh,
carrying.
wow.
Whoa,
Thanks,
whoa.
New York City.
Yeah, wasn't this a whole thing on D&D Twitter?
Twitter, I saw that one. Yeah.
Oh, the orc thing.
So
yes.
you're gonna flame it
Wait,
up now.
what orc thing? on
All right,
D&D?
so
That's not
in the baseline of D&D, orcs in the monster manual are just described as evil. And people
Right.
are like, yeah, this is total bullshit to like say an entire race is this or that. Like that's not how people. And they got really into it, and eventually Chris Perkins came down and was like, actually, you're correct. We're going to change that. My answer to that was, I've literally rewrote how races work in every single one of my campaigns every single time. So people are like, this is how dwarves work. And I'm like, no, that's how Warhammer dwarves. That's not how dwarves work in my world.
Which is why I ask you what the orc.
But
what
I
orcs are
want to
like.
know what your impression of an orc is. Connor, I'll give you one last chance before I answer the question for you. Just in case there's some orcish type that you want to try out. All right. We're going to go with full D&D orcs right out of the book. They're known as insanely evil, chaotic desecrators who offer up bodies to dark fetishes in order to draw spiritual power out. Some have said that they are noble savages, but those people are all orc apologists. You know better.
Okay.
They value single combat. Their entire race is militant. Even the women and children and the elderly are all great warriors who will murder you and rip your throat out in an instant.
Also, the
Wow,
the
those sound
Guzenga's empire is the thing that led the Red Crusade against.
No, this is totally different D&D world.
Oh, okay.
Yep, totally different D&D world, not based on the last one.
Oh, okay.
In fact, none of these 4 scenarios that we've had take place on the same D&D world. They all have their own individual world. That's why Cotton's was like happy and really easy, and that's why Mix was like horrible and terrible. I really based the scenarios around how I felt that the players were.
So what you're saying is that I'm also terrible. This is a terrible. Poorly
How bad
affected
is this
village.
world? I mean, it's, you know, it's a forest. Come on now. Wait, you afraid of forests, Connor? Do you think forests are bad?
No, I like forests.
Okay, well, that's your world so far is a forest with an inn and some homes and one
Okay.
barn.
So
You got
okay.
beef with that?
Bospa's gonna move forward and not be held at disadvantage by this orc, but he's also not going to fire the first shot.
All right. So as you continue to move forward, at some point, Penn stops you silently when he also detects the orc long after you have, and whispers to you, "Sir, do you want to go on ahead without the goats? It would be a shame for them to get injured in any violence."
Bospa steps off the goat and proceeds on foot as Pan is meant to keep back.
Smeggy loudly goes, "Good luck, Sir Knight! I await your victorious return!"
Bospa gives him a deep glare.
He
and then
pulls a
moves forward.
flask out of his cloak and salutes you with it before taking a drink. The nameless former slave and Penn begin exchanging furiously fast hand gestures to each other.
So does the slave not speak?
I'd say no. No, he only
Okay.
gestures.
Like ever?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, he's mute. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Yeah. I said, do you speak my language? But he just smiled and handed me a Vegemite sandwich. Connor, that worked. When he handed you that Vegemite sandwich, you knew that he had to be part of your team. Because it came from a land down under.
Well, now I know geographically where it came from. It must come from a really far place.
Came from far, far beyond the borders of the Red Crusade.
Right.
Of the Empire. Which is not the Guzan Guzan Empire. It's just an empire.
Oh, okay.
Which I didn't name. Because saying empire always sounds evil, and the Red Crusade also sounds pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'd say both of those things sound
good.
Pretty.
I wanted to make it sound
awful.
like, oh, hey, these people burned my homeland down and drove us all out. I guess those are probably the villains. You make your way forward.
Misunderstood.
At some point, you find perched on a branch about 30 feet up, the orc is squatting with a boar spear, overlooking the boar several hundred feet away. There is the occasional light as the trees shift and move, allowing flashes in the darkness to be seen as the leaves part and allow sunlight fall to the forest floor.
So
the boar does not seem to have smelled or noticed either of you yet. Sorry, the bear. The bear has not smelled.
Oh, it's the bear that he's tracking?
Yes, he is tracking the bear.
Okay, I thought it was the boar. Okay.
I said boar, but what I meant was bear.
Gotcha. So Bospa is going to try and make a hunter's like sort of like bird call that the orc might recognize to signal that we're here.
Okay. He turns to look at you as if he already knew that you were there as you make your hunting call.
And so he's going to hand signal that, are you also hunting that bear?
What's those hand signals look like? Show it to me.
Yeah, I want to watch this.
Actually, I want to see you draw someone making the hand signals. I want intense 2-hand drawings, like 4 or 5 of them, indicate.
I mean, look, hunters make these kinds of these calls to each other. I mean, I'm not.
Yes,
a hunter.
Connor, I'm messing with you. It would be awesome if you had an answer to that. Your character knows how to do it.
Okay. I mean, I wasn't sure if maybe that might be a role play thing.
He will. Oh, it definitely was a role playing thing, but you failed to role play. So,
okay.
What he does is he uses his spear. He jams it into the tree, and then uses it to hang off of, and his weight to let him go down about 10 feet before kicking off the side and landing in front of you heavily. Very badass 3-point land as he rises, spear in one hand, directly in front of you.
Superhero landing.
Yep, superhero landing. That's what we call the 3-pointer.
Bospa stands back, looking unimpressed.
He says something to you in Orcish, which sounds like the language of Mordor, which I shall not utter here.
Well, Bospa is gonna speak common, but he's actually still gonna be keeping silent, because otherwise we're gonna alert the bear.
Okay.
And he's just gonna proceed forward.
He puts a hand on your chest and looks you up and down. He's looking at your weapons.
So I mean, I've already got the longbow out.
Okay.
And then of course I show my short swords.
His eyes narrow as he looks at you, and then slaps you on the back and points to where the last place you saw the bear was.
Is it already gone?
The bear is 300 feet away from you, but it's total darkness. So it's impossible to see except when a breeze rolls through.
Mm-hmm.
For now, whenever you do see the brief flashes, you see it moving around, like snuffing around at the bottom of trees looking for something. He drives his spear into the ground and takes a powerful stance as if he's saying he's not going to move from this spot, and gestures for you to go ahead.
So I'd like to try and see if he's intending on attacking us out, like either during or in the middle of the fight or afterward.
Make an insight check.
Yeah. 16.
You have heard among less credible scholars. I mean, everyone knows that orcs are horrifyingly evil, violent creatures. But you have heard that some have said that they are noble hunters, and that many misunderstandings have happened. It looks like he is gesturing that you should take this kill from him. He will wait until you have either succeeded or failed before he steps in.
So Basba is going to thank him in some kind of gesture, slap him on the back perhaps, as he's done him, and he's going to proceed forward.
Okay. So for you, visual range with this bear is about 60 feet. Are you approaching in that range and then firing with the bow? Tell me how you hunt your prey, noble hunter.
So even though Basba isn't exactly the stealthiest,
I climb up a tree, then I flutter my cloak out. I land directly behind them and go, "I'm Batman."
Nothing personal.
I'm Dragon Man. Nothing personal. You slightly draw your sword, and then you withdraw it. You shit, and then the bear just splits in half, and you go, "I'm only using 10% of my power."
So, okay, like just to offer a different scenario. That was pretty awesome. But I mean, now I can't copy it. So.
Oh yeah, my apologies, Connor. I hate to steal that from you.
Yeah, so he's going to create a trap, try to learn where the path that the bear is somewhat going.
So you want to move ahead of the bear?
Yes.
Okay.
And
I want to let you know that your keen instincts in bear hunting and beast hunting let you know that if you move ahead of the bear, you're going to end up upwind, and it will be able to detect you.
Okay, then he doesn't.
It's not that it won't fall into the trap, but that it will probably try to murder you.
Yes. But I'm assuming that the bear is somewhat going around its cave, or like.
No, there's no caves here.
Okay.
Forest. It's flat, plainy forest. No underground locations.
Okay. I mean. All right, then I'm gonna have to go to the tree situation, I guess. Well, either way, you'd have to be in a single spot, and then. But I guess with the trees, you can jump across. Yeah,
you're gonna have trouble climbing a redwood alone. But walk me through this one.
They're redwoods.
Yep. I remember calling them sequoias earlier. I even told you to imagine briefly.
True.
Let's play back that tape. Roll that beautiful beam footage. If this was a good YouTube edit, I would actually insert that scene right here.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he's gonna basically stalk the beast and try and disguise himself with any kind of foliage that's surrounding the area. But otherwise, he's gonna try and he's gonna try and stab the beast in the back with his short swords.
So you're gonna try to approach it from behind and like stealth attack it.
Yeah.
Okay, make a stealth check.
All right.
Oh, if that had been the 14, you would have been so lucky.
Yeah.
All right. It works for a while. You got your two short swords out, I assume points down. You move slowly, approaching, stopping whenever it seems like maybe it's noticed. to let it pass and then continuously stalking. When you're about 20 feet away, the bear turns and rears towards you, roaring and making a charge. What do you do?
Can I I'd like to do can I do two an action and a bonus action?
Tell me what you want to do. Don't say it in terms of action and bonus action.
Okay. Well, I would ready my Slayer's Prey on it,
okay,
as well as ready a dodge action from the charge.
Okay. You realize that dodge action just gives you disadvantage on attack roll. Incoming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's charging, so this is the major blow that you want to avoid.
Yeah, I concur. And what is this other thing that you're doing?
He's got Slayer's Prey, which basically gives you...
So you're designating the bear.
Yeah.
Okay. The bear will attack you at disadvantage. Let's see how this goes. And then we're going to roll initiative. How's a 20 do?
What?
Yeah.
That's disadvantage?
That's at look, you can see the rolls.
I can see the rolls. Yes, 20 hits.
All right, so this thing charges forward. It stops directly in front of you and rears up. It slams a massive paw down and you roll under it. But then the bear head comes down and it literally gets your whole head in its jaws. Its heavy, hot, stinky tongue is rolling over your face as the jaws just start gnawing on your head. And you're like, oh God! At some point, you manage to stab it, and it briefly lets go. But you do take 1d8 plus 4 damage to your neck area. Take 6 points of damage, right?
All right.
Okay, let's roll initiative. You and the bear and you. Like the king and I, but with bears. I may not have actually seen. I assume it went like this, though.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's what Evie and Rebecca are watching in the other room right now, actually.
The King and I with Yul Brynner?
Yeah. Sounds like music. And I saw Bald Guy earlier.
There are many movies with bald guys and musics that are not actually The King and I.
It was on the short list of movies for tonight, which is why I suspect. But I could be wrong.
All right, Bazba, you're up first. You got 2 short swords out. You have Slayer's Prayed this person.
That's right.
You're about to Slayer's Take this guy to the Slayer's Cake.
And I'm about to put Hunter's Mark on his ass.
Oh, you're doubling it up? Look at this motherfucker. What is this? What dark magic is this? What does your Hunter's Mark magic look like? Describe it to me as you place it on this creature. Is it like World of Warcraft where a symbol starts floating over top of its body? Is it like he's suddenly shedding mysterious light, or leaves fall off of him, or a symbol that only you can see, like a crosshair is drawn over him?
I think he makes a sign, and then in...
Oh, you do a Naruto sign while holding both of your short swords. You turn it into like a, like one sword horizontal, one sword vertical.
And then the effect of it is that this creature now glows, or like it has like some kind of, like everything else in his vision sort of drops away, and it's specifically he can see this creature's movements.
I see. You've marked him as a target now using T, and now you can follow around.
Well, I was imagining it differently than that, but yeah, basically.
You middle mouse buttoned him in between holding left click. Now you get an extra 2d6 on all of your attacks, motherfucker. Ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, okay, you only get the 1d6 on the first attack.
Yeah, not the two attacks, I think.
Yes. The first attack gets Slayer's Prey. The second attack doesn't get Slayer's Prey, but it still gets nature.
Oh, really? Hunter's Mark?
Slayer's Prey. Hunter's Mark on both of them, but Slayer's Prey is only on the first.
Okay.
Yeah. Give me some attack rolls, bro.
All right.
I want to remind you still have...
Yeah, I'll use the inspiration.
On the first attack?
Okay, on the first attack.
Yeah, go ahead.
To 22.
22 is a good number to hit. 7 points of damage. What's your combat style look like?
In this case, since he has had his mouth around my face, he's taken two swords and stabbing like this on the bear.
Oh, yeah. Desperate is your combat style. I understand. You get an extra 2d6 here, one for Slayer's Prey and one for Hunter's Mark. All right, so
that's an
total of
extra
12
5
damage. Hit me with your second attack. Yep.
23
plus an extra d6.
for 5.
So that's 12 plus 9 is 21.
Yeah.
Okay, you desperately stab this thing in the chest repeatedly. The blades go deep and cut into some thick, fat, and sinewy muscle. Certainly the bear is injured by this, but it's also 1,000 pounds heavier than you and infuriated. So now it's going to try to consume you whole. And you don't have a dodge action this time.
Nope.
What's your armor class?
16.
The bear lands heavily against you, trying to go for the head-to-head bite again, but you manage to take it on the shoulder. It does not penetrate your armor like this. It's rearing up, trying to knock you over, swatting at you with the claws, but its claw gets caught up in your cape and rips it slightly, but it also doesn't disembowel you with a banana shaped like a razor blade. It's not your turn.
In that case,
You've got about 1,700 pounds of bear trying to force you to the ground by lying on top of you.
All right, he's going to take his 2 swords and try and like leverage the paw in some kind of way where he's like slicing it, but he's also forcing it away. If that makes sense.
You want a strength to strength with a bear?
No, I mean he's going to attack it. I'm just favoring it.
I was gonna say, like, it feels like it'd be really tough for you to force a bear away. According to these rolls, though, you're doing pretty good. I mean, with that 2d6.
Much better than my roleplay. 2d6.
Wow. It's like I'm talking to Rob. That's Rob Shepard.
Oh, man,
Just
look at
in case
that.
you don't know.
It's rubbing off.
Wow, bottom, snake eyes. Incredible, Connor.
Yeah.
It's 27 points of damage. You still have another attack. Okay, it's another 7. You bring it up to 34.
Ugh.
As your left offhand attack, sorry, I'm assuming that he's right-handed.
Yeah.
Your left offhand attack lands. There's a brief burst as the last of your magic expires inside this creature, and the bear tumbles next to you. Its arm is still across your entire body, but it is on the ground. Its muscles cut in every place that is worthwhile. It is not dead, but if you leave it here, it will die. It looks up to you with one mournful eye.
You stab that son of a bitch right in that eye. You
So
kill
is
that
it-
animal dead, Connor. Animals are evil.
Is it looking for like?
Oh, it totally wants to eat you. It's an angry bear that has just had all of its like arm muscles cut.
So Bosma is going to honor the kill and like kind of ceremoniously execute this bear, like in a kind of way that honors it as a fellow. Like this is he predator kills a worthy adversary.
Sure. Talk to me about this. Is it slit the throat? Is it sword straight down through the skull, down into the ground?
I think it's through the
Cut its
like
tongue and let it die out on the bleeding? Like what you described to me what an honor kill looks like.
stab through the like it down through the collarbone and into like the organs.
Oh, okay. You're aiming for the heart.
Yeah.
Okay. The bear weakly paws with its back paws, trying desperately not to die for a few moments before finally losing heart because it's lost its heart.
Well, it shouldn't have killed so many folks.
When you look up, your orc is gone. You are alone in the forest.
So, what would be an example of a trophy from this beast?
The head.
The head?
But
All
the
right.
head is very large. The
I
paws
was going
would
to say
also
the head's
work.
got to be huge, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to call out to Pan and Smeggy and the rest come back out as he chops off the bear head.
As he approaches, Smeggy is like, "My lord, a glorious victory has been yours. I will tell the tale, though I did not see it. I can see from what has happened that you went into the gullet of the bear and consumed it from the inside out."
Whatever you say, remember that it was a worthy adversary.
Bears have no honor. Not at least an honor such as a great knight as yourself, he says, swinging down off of his goat.
But it does command respect, and you should respect it in the story.
When you say that, he pulls down his pants, and then he squats next to the boar and starts twerking. And he says, "Such honor, my lord! I honor it with a look in my ass."
How did I come by you, Specky?
I'm very good at getting discounts.
That is true.
Someone in this group needs to be presentable after all.
You do,
He says twerking.
When you're not twerking, you do smooth out our edges. I'll give you that.
I'm so glad that you took a look at this nature of my butt, my lord. It is quite smooth. No edges in sight. He says, pulling up his trousers. I really want that to be the final line of this scenario.
It is a good one. I think it's been an hour, so.
Yep. I'm going to see if I can wrangle up Cotton. All right, let's see what Shep's been working. I've been watching Connor for too long. Look at these guys. Look at these earrings. It makes them so much more menacing and villainous with the earrings.
It does.
Especially given that, you know, the earrings are not matching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not about symmetry.
I can tell. Connor.
Yep.
How was your scenario? It's okay to be honest.
It was fun. I mean, I just like cringe at my like bad role playing, but otherwise it was fun. I enjoyed it. It wasn't too much pressure because of course I wasn't really drawing. So
good. I mean, that's part of the reason I wanted to offer to do something like this.
Right.
Could you do it on a regular basis?
As long as everyone was having fun, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I guess minus Cotton, we need to talk about, like, is this something you want to switch to? Cotton, in that typical not actually answering the question, said the following: I am all right switching systems if everyone wants to, but I'd also like to finish the story we started. I don't know
have a lot of stories
what
that
the
we have
story.
started.
Yes, that's the thing. I don't know which story she's referring to. I did finally get the Lyra X Ash storyline kicked off. That did just start. It only took me the entire length of the series to make that happen, and repetively bludgeoning everyone with references over and over again. But it did eventually happen.
It took the an actual event for Ash to sort of come out of his shell. Like it makes more sense that it happened at that moment than it did than otherwise. I think.
Okay. I mean, you're Ash. You tell me how he works. I would hate to tell you how to fall in love.
Well, he has to, like, you know, it being that his basic character is that he doesn't really pursue that kind of thing. Something has to change for that to occur, right? Makes sense to me. Anyway, yeah, we do have a lot of story. I mean, we also have, you know, Mortrick and Cazador.
I mean, I feel like I'm never so committed to anything I can't walk away from it at a moment's notice, which is why I have a new character every other week.
Yes, we noticed. We all noticed. It's actually super weird for me.
Yeah, I mean, most people just innately get attached to their characters. You're like a character psychopath, Nick.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is like a character psychopath. Wow, this is the perfect description for Mick. Yep, when I think of Mick, I just think psychopath.
Well,
But ironically,
is it possible to play with our original characters, but try out this style of play with the characters we already have?
I think it'd be tough. You're all traveling together.
I'd say, like I said on the Discord, I mean, the one thing that I miss doing, I have a lot of fun. So everything we do is fun. But the one thing that I miss is actually advancing the characters.
You mean like getting a level up?
Yeah, like actually leveling up and
Yeah, the
growing
West
in
Marches.
power.
See, the West Marches style is very difficult to compatibilize with you guys because it's hard to get you to get into a combat scenario. You're always role playing, even in a thing that is literally about murdering people.
yeah, but I you know what? I'm going to be devil's advocate here, and every time that we're in a good situation to murder people, you still say something that makes us second guess it.
Good.
So
Excellent.
yeah, I'm like,
I'm smiling when you say that.
Yeah.
Wow, it's almost like murdering people for their experience points is a horrendously evil thing to do.
No, it's not.
Really?
Not in a game. No, it's not.
I'll remember this. Cotton has joined us, so I'm switching the
They're
other overlay.
evil. They're evil.
I got him.
It's okay to murder evil. This is not real life. Damn it.
Okay to murder evil. This is not real
Yeah.
life. I'll remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of game you want to play, Shep? Where everything that you fight is evil? And it's okay
It
to
doesn't have
murder
to always
them?
be that way.
I mean, it does make it easier to murder stuff. That
It
way.
does make it easy
Yeah.
to murder stuff,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean,
Cotton,
they don't have to be absolutely evil. Like, you could be Xanthar's guild, right? And Xanthar is like not an okay dude. And maybe his minions aren't exactly all beholders or whatever he is. But
he's a crime lord who offers to help assassinate people. Explain to me what part of that isn't evil.
I mean, he's not great, but I'm sure he's got a mother and he loves his mother. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
you know, I'm sure Hitler loved his mother too. That doesn't make him any less evil.
You're like mother love just makes you
Yeah,
creepier,
just
not
loving your
more
mom
innocent.
does not make you not a villain, Connor.
I'm not saying he doesn't, but I mean,
Brad literally made a character poster that said even villains love their moms.
I agree. I'm not saying that makes him good. I'm just saying it gives it, like, even evil characters can have that depth of character. I don't know. Anyway, let's go, Cotton.
All right, we got to start over with Cotton's introduction, don't we?
What were you up to this week?
I don't know. It seems like maybe she can't hear us.
Well, she's muted.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
I was just waiting for you guys to finish talking.
We were asking if you wanted to do your introduction.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Do you want me to?
Do you want to?
I don't care.
Then no. The question at the table is, what do you want to do? I mean, we've got campaign 1, Cazador and crew. We've got campaign 2, the West Marches thing, but obviously there's been some problems with that. Cotton, you said you wanted to wrap up the story. I'm not sure what you mean by that. For me,
What?
you said earlier that if you were to move ahead with doing this new style of play, the third way of play, you wanted to wrap up the story that
No,
we previously
no.
had.
I said I would be willing to switch if everybody else wanted to, but I would prefer staying and finishing what we started.
Okay. With Ash and Lyra, just to be clear. For me, that's the only storyline that matters.
I was interested in the Drow storyline you started.
Yeah, I mean, I start Drow storylines all the time. They're a dime a dozen. You know, you just throw a Drow in anywhere. I was what was the one I did last time we played? I was like, Connor might actually be the destined hero to free all the drow from the slavery. And Connor's like, I don't know, that doesn't sound like me. And Mick was like, that sounds like me. I mean, what do the rest of you think? Cotton would agree to go if everyone else agrees to go, but would prefer to stay. If you ask her, should I stay or should I go now? Her answer is yes. If she goes, there will be trouble, and if she stays, it will be double.
So I'll go out there. In a pinch, I would prefer to continue with the characters we've already established.
Okay. That's 2. Mick, we all know Connor's the leader of this group, and leaders always vote last after giving an inspirational speech to help change everyone's mind to see things their way. So I'd like you to vote before Connor. Just because I want to put pressure on Connor to have him make a speech.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I want to wait for my speech, but if I have to go without hearing the speech, I'm going to say I feel like there are, at least a couple storylines that could be wrapped up for group closure. My biggest concern about moving to this setting is that, I've got like 4 or 5 additional just absolutely golden characters yet to trot out. And like, maybe they never see the light of day.
Oh my God, Mick. You're the hardest player to work with I have ever had. You're like, I don't care about my character. I'm just here to do one thing, get a joke out of the way real quick, and then kill them so I can bring the next one in to ruin Connor's life.
I would say, like, if there is an important storyline that someone really wants to wrap up, then, like, I think we should try to do that. Otherwise, I like this format a little bit better as, like, not everyone can be there every week. If we are all here, then we can do the Avengers thing. If we're not going to do the Avengers thing, then I don't know that this format makes as much sense. Because
this format is only for if we do the Avengers thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it could work in anything but this. All right, Connor, bring it home. Give us your vote. It's 3 against.
I need you
to switch to
this, speech at me so that I can change my vote in a dramatic last-minute turn.
Yeah, everyone will stand up on top of their desks and clap for you as the teacher screams for them to get down. But you've managed to change everyone's mind, and now they're going to do a maid cafe.
I really have to just like sort of not listen to that because that will make me nervous. Just inherently.
It's too late. I've already laid the scenario out in your mind.
Yeah, but I've just tried to block it. And I think I've managed to do that. Look, I mean, I think I am attached to the characters in the other scenario, and I do want to wrap up storylines. For me, I'm more attached to like the long-running storylines, like that will take a very, very long time to get to. So I don't feel like there's any way to quickly wrap things up there. I mean, I obviously I think we should get to some kind of closure there, and I think that's what everyone here wants, and I'm happy to do that too. But I feel like if we can it's possible that this new format might help us keep things moving at a good clip. Meanwhile, I feel like, I don't know, the other scenario, we tend to sort of get bogged down somehow, and I don't know why that is. I mean, it could have something to do with like hesitant leader of some kind. I don't know, but yeah, that's sort of my thoughts. I like, you really got me on this like the competitive fighting thing that Mick came up with, and if we had some kind of Avengers team up thing,
you mean the
what is it called?
X-Crawl?
Yeah, X-Crawl.
Don't say Mick came up with that. That was my idea.
Yeah, but...
Just to be clear, it's an idea that I took from literal Maximum X-Crawl.
Right. But then he also made the character, and then had a whole. He also created a whole like comic for it too. So like that sort of worked out though what it really was in my mind as well. So I like if we did this solo format coupled with that, I think that could be a lot of fun. To me. What does everyone else think about that? Or
How
what?
inspirational.
I mean, it
that
sounds like
was.
your speech is you also want to continue the current campaign rather than go to a new one.
Like I said, I feel like I do want to close off some of the storylines, but the storylines that I'm very invested in are like more long-term storylines, like solving the mystery of the island, that kind of thing.
Yes.
But
so you're saying you want to stick with the current one rather than move to a new one.
But I can definitely see the advantages of like this scenario where this gameplay type. So I guess.
What if on days that someone couldn't make it, we started a second campaign with
No, please
the
no.
one-on-one characters?
Please God, no.
Okay, never mind.
I want to mention real quick. Last week was actual literal hell for me. I was like, I have to run 3 different scenarios. At least I got them pre-gened out, but each one had a different theme and like a different player to play to directly. And so I was like, all right, I have to shift gears. All right, we're gonna do Harry Potter now. Way different than murder, death, stealing. And then I had to shift gears again and be like, all right, now we're silent. There's no other characters anywhere. We're just alone on a mountain. All right. Then the rest of the week was like no prep time for New Game Plus. Battletech was absolute batshit crazy. Rogue Trader happened. I mean, I guess that was normal. And I'm also not the game master that it's really tough running games last week.
Yeah, I mean this new format involves a lot more GM work. You have to come up with 4 storylines.
I think it involves less GM work once we've got the characters down. So, I just...
But it's like running 4 campaigns as opposed to 1.
I guess, but the thing is, like, I don't need to come up with that much, right? Like, when I came up with the Empire for Connor and the Red Crusade, everyone was like, ooh, Empire, Red Crusade. And I'm like, I don't know, I just made those words. I don't know that they're attached to anything. I don't know fucking shit about the Red Crusade or the Empire. I don't have a dissertation written about them. I just put words there. Connor was like, tell me the history of the orcs. And I'm like, shit, I don't know, I didn't invent that.
What if you did like on the day someone's not there, you just run filler episodes where we go off and do a side quest with the people that are still there, simple ones, easy ones, or we run off and talk to the NPCs we always wanted to talk to but don't have time to do.
You talk to NPCs all the time. 90% of the show is talking to NPCs.
Yeah, but if we talk to NPCs, then maybe we can move our battles faster when everybody's there.
I want to offer another scenario. And that is that we detach ourselves from the return back to the inn, et cetera, at the end, and just turn campaign 2 into a campaign.
I thought we already stopped going back to the end at the end.
Yes, but then Connor was like, I thought we were going back to the end. And I was like, okay,
well, that's because we
back.
Started at that, and then we stopped doing that.
I think we should completely detach it from that, and we should also detach it from, everything is random, encounters, and all that stuff. It sounds like you guys have quests that you've attached yourselves to. Connor wants to know more about the mystery of the island and the destiny of his people. I don't know what Lyra wants to do anymore, because she kind of solved her thing by murdering the guy who ruined her life. Mm-hmm. Gizmo is out on a quest to learn more arcane secrets in order to further his knowledge. And Mick just does whatever the hell he feels like, so can't put a price tag on Mick. His character will never advance because he never gets any experience points, but
I mean, I do like the idea of eventually being the only level 7 character in a group full of 20s. Like, that would be amazing. That is peak Mick.
Wow. It would be like if you took your current character and joined Critical Role Campaign 1 as their bag boy to carry all of their stuff.
Yes.
They'd be like, have you heard of Vaxeldon? He was twice the man you were, and he could carry at least 3 times as much stuff.
If I could provide disadvantage in as many skill checks as I possibly could, that's my goal.
Listen to this diabolical mastermind. Yeah, like, I'm okay with sticking with campaign 2 because it sounds like everybody is. Therefore, I guess...
Yeah, but do we want to change format to attract viewers? I mean, why do you really?
The format
why do you
change
really-
wasn't to attract viewers. I wanted to try something new, and you guys have made a choice.
We've all just shit all over that parade.
Not everything's for every person.
I mean, again, I like it's not. I don't think anyone is saying no to this new idea. It's
Everyone
just that
said no. I got
I
4 no
think
votes here.
everyone
We said
no, Connor.
we liked the system, but we
Yeah.
wanted to finish what we had started before.
I understand. So that's
Because
4 no votes.
you made 2 things that we liked, and we want to finish the one that we started first.
Of course. So let me get my notes out here so I can understand what it is you do want to wrap up. This is the wrong one. This is the notes for campaign 1. Because I see the word Mortrick Egan Hattlespar, and I know that is not a character in campaign 2.
there are many characters like him.
The last note I have on my current set of notes for the West Marches is Fulbork asking how can he be the tastiest. So, and I don't think he means in like a dating sense. I believe it was how he could literally make himself be flavored better.
Yeah, I've got so many rich, juicy, just amazing characters planned
All right,
for that.
so I'm just writing
campaign.
that mixed goals for campaign 2 are to ruin everyone else's experience by constantly bringing new characters in to bother Connor.
Not just Connor. I mean, like that is
To bother
the-
everyone. Okay,
Yes,
got it.
yeah. But Connor is the primary. Yeah.
Can't wait to see you go run up against Lyra and then Lyra just dunks on you. Connor, what would you like to see wrapped up? And see, I'm
Again,
saying
like-
wrapped up, but what I mean is this is what we're going to be focusing campaign 2 on for now and all eternity.
Well, that's a lot of pressure. I mean,
A lot of pressure. I just want to know what you want to do with your game. Connor, I want you to tell me now your favorite color, and it has to be in both Crayola color and hex code.
Yeah, and absolute. Like you cannot change your mind ever for the rest
Correct.
of your
And the
life.
Crayola color and the hex code have to align.
You need to commit for all time on this.
magenta.
Magenta isn't even a color. It doesn't exist in the human eye spectrum. The color wheel is not the way that color works is that red and purple are on opposite ends of the spectrum of visible light.
I mean, I can still say magenta.
You can say magenta, but magenta is not natural. It's just your brain filling in something that doesn't exist.
You can say that about every color.
No, every other visible light color has a wavelength associated to it that can be tracked.
Look, I see magenta all the time. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're about to see magenta right now.
I'm pretty sure that's a Crayola color and a hex code. That's why I picked it.
Okay, what's the hex code for magenta? Off the top of your head, hit me with it right now. He's Googling it. That's how you know he's weak.
I'm not gonna do the hex code.
You don't know the hex code of your favorite color?
No, I don't. But it is pretty simple. It's 255-0255.
Everyone knows that the best hex code color is hashtag FF6724. That's AP Gaming Real Orange.
That is a nice color. I do like the
Yeah,
orange.
thanks, because that's my favorite color.
I also like a nice yellow.
Really? You don't find that yellow is too sharp of a color? It doesn't bother your eyes?
Nope. I like the sharpness for certain things. I mean, magenta is also a pretty sharp color. Your orange is pretty sharp. What are
I'm
you talking
adding
about?
that to the list. Connor Hughes. He likes junk in the trunk. What was it? Boulder in the shoulder?
Bulk in the rear.
Bulk in the back. Bulk in the
On the
back.
back. Yep.
He likes sharp colors. He wants the pain in the eyes. For a man who likes sharp colors, you really did some muted toning here.
I also like muted tones. I mean, I can like both.
Connor Hughes, he's impossible to understand. But my list of Connor Hughes goals here are empty. Favorite colors? So more than one. Too many to list, actually.
Right. Okay, look, I mean, for the campaign, I don't have a very specific short-term goal. I want to know more about the island. I want to find out what precisely is going on with the magic of this place, and also track the thing, like find Goose and Gus's favor, right? Like that's what Ash
So
is
find
there
your
for.
destiny.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So just small things, right?
You literally just said that they weren't short term.
I'm being sarcastic.
Shep, what do you got? It's hard to get a read on Gizmo.
I think overall my goal is just I want to stick with something long enough so that we advance the character. But I don't
get experience
really
points.
I mean, I never thought I'd be into Gizmo, but I think Gizmo's very interesting. But I don't really care. I just want to have a character and advance it and build the strength and strategize in combat.
Let me throw you this.
Yeah,
we're gonna go off the West Marches format. You'll get experience for role playing now. Whoa! Oh boy, yeah, that'll change things. I mean, for everybody but Mick, but.
Can we still murder hobo things if we want to? Like, is that now
I'm not
not
going to stop.
acceptable?
Listen, Connor, I'm not going to be like, you can't go to this dungeon and kill people, Connor. The dungeon is closed. There's a sign on it that says renovations. The dungeon master comes out, he bows before you and says, "My apologies. We're upgrading all of the traps to be at least twice as deadly. If you could come back in the summer when we pass the OSHA compliance, I would appreciate it."
Does that mean we've been getting roleplay experience like the last few times?
No,
said we
you've
already
not
have
gotten
it?
you 0% role-playing experience so far. What I'm saying is that if we're committing to this, we're just going to commit to it being a campaign. No West Marches experience for role-playing, because you do so much of it, like incredible amounts. There's so much talking for a murder game. Then we need to just recognize that it's not a murder game anymore. It's like 50% dating simulator.
I mean, I could try and make it more of a murder game.
No, you couldn't.
I could.
No, you couldn't.
I could.
No.
Could we just go back and murder that Dark Elf village?
You could try. I mean, there are thousands of people. If you
I
want
thought
to,
you said before that we could level an entire village.
yeah.
So
We just need to find a dam, blow up the dam. The water will destroy the village for us.
It's an underground village, so.
So we need
Still
to
have
find
water.
an underground body of water. with
Yes,
an
but I don't know if you
dam.
know this, Connor, but water also flows downhill.
well, surely there's water above them then, right?
Yes, but it will also flow downhill.
So we gotta block the water.
There we
You
go.
mean dam the whole city and then flood it?
Right.
Okay, I understand. Let me
That
know
seems
how
like
that great public works goes. Wander around, just be like, don't worry about us. We're just going to close every exit out of the city that heads in a downward direction. Don't mind us. It's not weird. Cotton, I want to know what your goals for Lyra are.
My goals, like for the story, or for what Lyra's goals are for right now?
Either, both.
I'm interested in knowing like the whole history of the island, and I'm interested in that first temple we went to, why it was connected to a different plane. I want to figure out what happened there. Because you said we could feel that it was like connected to something else, and it was getting
Connected
hot
to
for
the
no
infernal
reason.
plane, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very interested in figuring out what's going on there.
So you want to know about the mysteries of the island.
Yeah, pretty much. I said that first.
Yeah.
And Lyra's goals are to find a new purpose in life, because it was
She just
purely
murdered the last one?
dedicated to revenge, and she got it. So
She should be like the Punisher. Now that she's murdered the first person on her list, she just adds another name.
she
Please,
doesn't have
no.
any
Going.
names right now.
The Punisher is literally one of the worst heroes in existence.
He's not even a hero. He's
I
a
agree.
serial killer.
He's a villain, actually. I hate when I see people that have like the red, white, and blue Punisher skulls
Right?
on their
Or like
cars.
Punisher on a cop car. Like
Oh
that
my
seems
God.
real ethically iffy to me.
Ethically iffy. The man kills corrupt cops. He just kills everybody.
Serial killer.
Yeah.
What? But like he only kills bad guys, so
I mean, but that's in his point of view, not a legal or ethical.
Listen, I'm like 90% sure as a real American, the Punisher would never kill me. So
you've never committed a crime worthy of death?
As long as he's killing the right people, why should I worry about the, morality or legality of what he does?
Uh-huh. Well, you definitely sound like a Punisher fan right now, and I know that you're being sarcastic, but it's painful to listen to.
I hate those people.
I would never be killed by the Punisher. I'm not one of those people.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like the Punisher's the kind of guy who sees somebody jaywalking and is just like, death.
So guess who my brother-in-law's favorite comic book character is?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a list of things to deliver for all of you coming up. Experience points, adventure, excitement, destiny, learning more about the island. I can't make you learn more about the island, but if you want to ever leave Drowtown and head back up to the island and learn more about it, it's there for you, ready to go.
I mean, I do want to leave Drowtown, but I kind of want to see what Connor's destiny is before we leave.
Who says Connor's destiny is down?
Yeah,
I don't know. It feels like it's down.
Yeah, but that's just the babblings of nameless drow slaves.
I know I'm interested in freeing all the slaves, but I know Lyra really, really wants to leave the underground.
Yeah. I'm in the same department.
As you know, the easiest way to help slaves out is to kill the masters and then free the slaves. All you have to do is tell the slaves to not listen to the old masters and then kill them. And surely no one will have ever planned for that contingency, so it'll win instantly.
Oh yeah. There's no drawback.
Look, their destiny is their own, I mean, like.
Before we leave Drowtown, I do have to bring out one more character who is.
What are you going to do with Charquala? I feel like the thing is, Charquala feels like you've really committed hard. Like,
honestly, Chark would be such a fun person to have follow in the group now.
Once Chark is gone, like a whole huge fraction of the storyline of the world disappears.
He'll leave a hole in our hearts.
Lyra is like reaching out towards Meatheed's view screen, watching Chark go, and she's like, I'm all out of love. It's so hard without you. Everybody's crying, and they're just like, Charquala, why did you leave us? You were our heart. You were our center. Ash is in the corner, just like, ugh, fuck that guy. My brother's such an asshole. That's all I got, guys. I've learned your answer, and your answer is we're not doing the AP Gaming Real tabletop cinematic universe, which I can live with. I'm glad you enjoyed your experiences.
I don't think you should give up on that idea.
I will absolutely give up on it. I have 100 billion other ideas I gotta work on.
I think it would be really cool.
We got Food Dungeon now. There's an anime about airships that hunt down dragons to eat them, and I was like, that sounds like something I would throw in Food Dungeon.
I have been pretty excited for Food Dungeon.
Yeah, I've been excited for Food Dungeon for like an entire year since I invented Food Dungeon.
I've been excited for Food Dungeon since you mentioned inventing Food Dungeon.
Yeah, I would love to talk recipes with people. I would just be like, all right, well, you break open the Giga Caterpillar. It's got some fresh, grubby meat inside. When it's cooked, it's like poultry. But you can eat it slightly raw. What are you doing? You doing a well-done grub caterpillar? You doing like, like maybe you're doing a medium rare? What's the sizzle sound like, Are we getting like that pork? Or are we getting that like steak sizzle that's like...
I'm only going to be very good at Food Dungeon. I just try to make everything taste like Dr. Pepper.
Don't worry, I'm not inviting you to Food Dungeon. I'm only inviting people who like food and cook it, which is why Ratasaurus isn't allowed. Rat is like, yesterday I ate meat-flavored meat, steak-flavored steak.
Yeah, didn't you describe eating as like a chore that he has to do?
Yeah, that is absolutely how I feel about eating. It is a daily chore.
Here I am. I'm over here just like, I had beef bulgogi today. It was amazing. I seared it until it was nice and dark brown. The sauce went with perfectly. The onions were nice and crisp.
I am going to nicely ask Pondo to have twice cooked pork tomorrow.
Ooh, you know what you should ask him for?
Rice cooked pork.
Scrapple.
Oh, yeah,
I don't have a place that serves scrapple. I have a place that serves twice cooked pork.
Well, that's the thing.
Or Mongolian beef, but twice cooked pork is my favorite.
I hope there's not a place that sells scrapple.
I'm not muted.
I don't care.
He already said that on BattleTech. You guys, you know that I'm just gonna send you all and Rad Scrapple at this point, right? Like,
I'll cook it. I'll cook it.
I'll get my revenge. I'll get my revenge. Y'all motherfuckers gonna be eating Scrapple. It will happen. I just gotta figure out how to get a local. I said I would try it. It's not like we live in a time right now where it's the best time to be sending uncooked meat to other people. not the best time. Well, technically, Scrapple is fully cooked when you get it, and you simply need to cook it again to harden it up. But you could technically eat Scrapple raw because it's been fully boiled, but it doesn't taste as good.
Do you fry it in a pan?
Yes, pan fried. Absolutely.
What is Scrapple? I've never heard it.
I'm going to do this one quickly because I've already described Scrapple on 2 different shows in the last 2 weeks. Yeah. Imagine all of the meat that does not get put into a hot dog. All right. Stick that in an industrial-sized blender. Reinforce it with cornmeal. And then turn that blender on until everything is a nice slurry. Like a liquid sea. Then you boil it, remove the meat, boil down the liquid that it was in, then reinsert the meat into that liquid. Then it turns into a gray loaf, which you then slice into 1/4-inch thick slices. Fry very briefly, 5 minutes on each side on high heat, so that the outside becomes crisp, golden brown, solidly hard. When you break it open, it crunches, but the inside, that 1/4-inch of inside meat, is like a liquid sea that flows out of the crispiness into your mouth. Some have described the texture as velvety, bacon adjacent. Others have described it as, I've never eaten it.
Bacon adjacent sounds fantastic.
It's all of the meats your mama never wanted you to eat.
Google describes it as breakfast meatloaf.
It's not meatloaf. It's meatloaf requires 3 things. Well, 4 things. First off, beef. But the 3 other things it describes, if you're not talking about the meat, are bread and eggs and celery. If you do not have the bread, eggs, and celery, it's not a meatloaf.
I've never had meatloaf with celery in it.
Oh my god, if this is an anime, there would have been a lightning bolt hitting me with a black background as I was like shocked.
I think, different regions have different meatloafs.
Nope, that's pretty much, yes. I'm aware that different regions prepare food differently, but meatloaf is pretty much those 3 ingredients everywhere.
The meatloaf around here is pretty much beef and the eggs to keep it together, and then they put a sauce on top. Sometimes they put breadcrumbs in it, but not usually. And sometimes you put oatmeal in it.
Yeah, in Kansas, it's ground beef, eggs, ketchup, and Lipton onion soup.
Yep. It's ketchup and something else, not
onions. My god.
Oh, Worcestershire.
Yeah, Worcestershire and ketchup is used to make the sauce that goes over the meatloaf, yes.
But we don't put much anything in our meatloafs besides meat and eggs. Some people put in
I can't believe you don't use
use
breadcrumbs in your meatloaf, otherwise it won't have that kind of puffiness.
My mom uses oatmeal.
I guess. This consideration has made me incredibly sad. You're all making meatloaf wrong. Recognize my vision.
I'll try it with breadcrumbs in it sometime.
It's like they're talking about good orcs, right, guys?
Wow, Connor Hughes, everybody. Comedic stylings of Connor Hughes.
Every once in a while, I get one.
Not as often as Mick, though.
No, not nearly as often. Often a jealous point. Thanks for
I think it's just because I rarely shut up. So like some of them are bound to land if you throw enough out there.
That's how I treat Pondo for all of my intros on Pondo shows. Eventually something will land if you just keep making jokes. God immediately turned to look at Pondo.
He can't hear you. But...
I know, but you can see him, and that's the best part. And now that you said that, he knows that we're talking about him too.
I don't know. He hasn't looked over here yet.
But now that you said that, he knows that you know. All right, let's do some outro wrapping up. Apparently, I have some planning to do. Unrandomizing this island of the West Marches, forefronting the mysteries of the island, its unusual stuff. Let's call it, we're gonna move into something that's more like what was that show called? Gravity Falls, where you guys solve mysteries. It's like Ghost Hunters, but not fake.
I like Gravity Falls.
It's like Mythbusters, but all of the myths that you bust are giant rabbits that appear and try to eat you.
Like the Holy Grail?
No, like the black hair that tried to eat you in like episode 3.
But that was totally a Monty Python reference.
Yes, I know that that's a Monty Python reference. I'm avoiding it. I don't think Monty Python is as funny as most people think it is.
Yeah.
I feel like the front half of Monty Python is funny, but then you get about to the halfway mark to the end, and it's like, why am I still here?
No, here's the problem with Monty Python, is that their whole humor style was about doing random shit to surprise you and shake you up. But it got to the point when they started doing movies, everyone was like, aha, that's so funny, I'm going to quote this movie after watching it 15 times. Which is the complete opposite of Monty Python.
Maybe that was the joke they played on all of
Plus,
us.
the Knights of the Round Table song is not very good.
I mean,
I feel like if you're going to include a musical number in your movie, it needs to be good.
This is like some real backseat, like 20 years later judging of like a fairly.
That's not 20 years later. That's like 40 years later. And Monty Python have themselves said that that is the case. That they thought that the humor of their stuff was being lost by people constantly quoting them.
I agree. I think anytime you like re-quote something like that, it's gonna lose effect. But that doesn't mean the movies themselves are.
You're totally wrong, Connor.
Yeah.
Let me hit you with The Lion King, okay? Every time you sing "Be Prepared," you are not making the movie weaker. You're making it stronger.
I never sing that song. And the songs are different. Song is a different thing than humor.
Look, Connor, I know that your powers of retention are as wet as a warthog's backside. Pay attention. My words are a matter of pride.
Sure. But
I can see from your vacant expression that the lights are not all on upstairs, but we're talking kings and successions. Even you can't be caught unawares.
I really don't like Lion King. It's my least favorite of the Disney
Really?
animated. Yeah.
Less than Little Mermaid?
Yeah, like just animals. Like I don't care.
Lion King was incredible.
Everyone, like, if it had been people,
Scar was
it
a
might have
true
been
king,
interesting.
and Simba was a traitorous usurper.
But like, if it had been people instead of animals, I might have been interested.
It still would have been awesome.
It would have been more awesome.
Mufasa
been
being
watchable.
run over by a bunch of athletes. By a bunch of track and field athletes. They're all wearing cleats. And who's the guy who plays Darth Vader, Mufasa? James Earl Jones. Imagine him being stepped on by like dozens of people. Sorry, I got really sidetracked. Where was I? I was proving Connor wrong that movies get better over time instead of worse in many cases.
I'm saying if you re-quote a thing
Black
many
Hawk
times,
Down.
you dilute it.
I watch it every 4th of July to remind me that no matter what happens, military propaganda films will never get bad. Top Gun gets better with every viewing.
I really don't like Top Gun, but Black Hawk Down is solid. I think Top Gun is like the one Tom Cruise movie I don't like.
Irene, motherfucking Irene.
I watched Oblivion. That was a terrible Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah, Oblivion was not good either. That's true. I did like it better than Top Gun, but it was not good.
Well, Top Gun is way better than Oblivion.
I can't believe you don't like Top Gun.
Yeah.
There's like 6 quotable parts of that movie.
As a real American, I'm surprised you don't like Top Gun, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, I fail a lot of the litmus tests for real American for this region of the country.
Do you like cornbread and or chicken?
I like chicken, but not cornbread.
Country music?
Absolutely not.
Mayonnaise?
Yeah.
White bread?
Yep.
You're like halfway there. I could say you're living on a prayer. Connor, let's do your outros.
All right. Yep. As soon as I get back on Twitch, you can find me there.
When is that happening, Connor?
Soon. I have a very
Never.
I got behind and I have a cover to do, which I can't show on stream. So I have to do that first, and then I'll be back on with the pages.
Does it involve elves murdering people and then having sex?
It involves werewolves. It's a variant cover I'm doing for someone. So
Okay.
I can't. That's why I can't show it on stream. But people will be able to see it at some point.
The game, Volume 2, very different than how I thought it was going to be.
Yes. Suddenly he turns into a werewolf.
Look, man, I didn't know how the game 1 ended. Everything was pretty normal up until that point.
I mean, that was exactly why that happened at the end of that issue, and we're gonna get back to it soon. I'm excited about that because issue 2 is good. Is like gonna be really good. So, but yeah, so that's my plan for this week. Yeah, so it's sort of you're gonna have to wait a little bit, I guess, if you want to catch the streams.
Yeah,
but
it's
there
not like
are
I
people
look
streaming
for
right now.
You or Mick or Shep when you're streaming in the middle of the day. It's not like I just sit there and wait for you guys to go live or anything.
Well, Mick's been blazing it in general, so you should check him
I
out.
don't know. I don't feel like Mick's the kind of guy who blazes it. Mick, do you blaze it? 420, bro?
Did I tell you about when I almost signed up for the Marines?
Oh no! Oh boy!
So like, I got most of the way through the process. My mom was super pissed.
I can't stop laughing.
Because she absolutely does not want me to.
Yeah.
And then they come over to the house for one of the interviews, and they go through a lot of questions. I was on probation at the time, which they knew of, but like my record was going to be sealed when I was an adult.
Oh,
so,
right.
like,
They ask you if you ever do any drugs.
if I ever dance with Mary Jane. Yep. Okay, you've heard this one. Story time over.
I mean, one of the questions, like,
I haven't heard this one.
no, it's a standard Marine thing. So if you do any drugs, you get disqualified. If you say that you drink alcohol, they ask you the question again, pretending they didn't hear you the first time.
Yeah. So they asked me if I'd ever danced with Mary Jane, and I was really confused. And I was like, no. And they're like, never. Not once. It's like, my girlfriend's name was Rebecca. Like, Spider-Man's Mary Jane? Like, I don't understand what you're asking me.
So
the
innocent.
answer was no.
So they checked you off. This guy's clean.
They're like, no, it's good. Checks out.
Then they asked him if he ate crayons, and he said, well, I have some crayons here if you want them. And
I'm
they
not gonna share with you guys.
They knew any man who still had crayons would never make it in the Marines.
He did have magenta, and so they said he checks out.
They knew he'd never be recruiting material from that point on.
I mean, I know someone who had a very different experience where they just have to admit it. As long as you didn't lie, then you know
you can get away with lying now. You know, you can revise your security form 60 times or so.
I mean, but the basic premise was that the intent was to discover whether you would lie about it. So if you had done it and then you lied about it, that'd be way worse than admitting that you had done it.
Yes, they take honor rather seriously.
So therefore, even like it's not that it necessarily disqualifies you.
Rob, what do you got?
Wait,
before you do your thing, I want to say this. I feel like you've really solidly captured the musculature of like a guy with a solid abdomen muscles, but is still overweight.
Yeah, I wanted a little
That's
pot belly
tough.
on these guys.
I gotta tell you, that's tough to pull off.
Right.
Well, glad I got
What
it
is that
across.
called? So it's actually a term in Japanese. I think it might be called haragiri.
I don't know.
No, please go ahead now that I've
nowadays
interrupted you.
they sometimes call it dad bod.
Well, not quite the same thing, but okay.
There's a genetic name for it because some weightlifters will get it.
Oh well, you're talking about like bodybuilders. They get it because of a certain kind of if you take certain kind of steroids, your organs will actually grow.
Yeah.
So that's like not the same thing.
Now,
Yeah, I don't think I want my organs growing inside my body. They're perfectly situated where they're at.
Sound good.
Yeah, that does sound
It's not
bad.
good.
idea.
It looks gross. Yeah. Harage.
Yeah, it's a way of communicating by checking out somebody's muscles, specifically the stomach muscle. If you have well-developed abdomen muscles, you are a martial artist. And so even if one has a sort of belly covering their musculature, as long as you demonstrate that level of core muscle, people know you're cool. You're down with it.
Right.
No.
It also literally means the implied part of a conversation rather than what is spoken.
Like thieves can?
No. So, wow, we were just talking about how shitty English is at communicating. In Japanese, it's tough to tell exactly what people are talking about. They don't specifically say, you come here. They'll just say, come. And it's up to you to determine who they're talking to and where they're saying to go to. It's implied as part of the conversation.
Yeah.
You can elucidate it, but it's, it's a more difficult form of the language. I'm going to get so many YouTube comments about this, just like back when I talked about fullering a blade. However, I am partially right about this. This is the quick 30-second version of a much longer discussion on Japanese. All right, now that I've interrupted you repeatedly, please tell us what you're up to.
I will be working on my commission tomorrow. I might be streaming tonight. I say that all the time, and so it's a 50-50 chance, but I might be on tonight working on this guy a little bit more because, he was just going to be kind of a doodle sketch, but the more I work on it, the more I like, continuing. So yeah, I might be on later. That's it. Cotton, what do you got?
I
Cotton can't
don't
believe she woke
even
up
remember.
from this shit.
Yeah, I did wake up from this. Technically, not really though. I kind of woke up because Pondo kind of woke me up a little bit on accident. But it's okay because the timing worked out all right.
I got to tell you, at the beginning of the show, I put better than even odds that Pondo would intentionally disable your alarm to not wake you up and let you sleep through the show.
Well, he I don't know if he walked back into the room or sat down on the couch. I just woke up and he apologized. What did you do?
Nothing.
Okay. Yeah, apparently he did nothing.
He definitely did something.
You did something.
Yeah.
He there's a good chance he didn't.
Nah, he did something.
He said he breathed.
You know what they
I
say? If
confirm
he
he
breathes,
breathed.
he's a simp. What else do you have?
I'm Cotton. I doodle and stuff. I'm on AP's Tuesday night shows, which is this one, and his Thursday night shows, as well as Pondo the Match Gestalt game on Sundays.
I'm gonna let that one slide. I really want to make fun of that show's name.
Hunters of Wolverine?
Yeah. Well, no, Gestalt.
Well, that's a system.
I know. I really want to make fun of it so bad.
I don't know who all has gone for their intros because we started talking about the
Mick
muscle
has left.
thing. Let's go to Mick.
Mick Comiker. Sometimes I stream. When I am streaming these days, I'm working on a smutty Western. Other times when I'm stream, I work on a smutty colonial story. Once upon a time when I streamed, I worked on a fairly tame D&D inspired fantasy story.
Is that the one where you reverse time on alcohol to make it go good again?
Yup.
Rovers?
Rovers.
I really like that one. When do we get more of it? When we get Rovers Volume 2?
Yeah.
I mean,
I just want to see you put months and months of work into like a 5-minute read for me.
Right?
Wow, I feel like I just broke the heart of every artist on stream.
That's how it is.
That might be the shittiest thing I've said today, and I've said some pretty shitty stuff.
I mean, relatively speaking, like relative to movies, I think there's probably less spent per viewer time.
Listen,
in comics,
I don't know if you've seen how they did The Mandalorian, but that is, if they move to doing that
stagecraft
oh
thing,
my
holy
god,
cow, that is amazing.
If they move to that in the future, we're gonna get some incredible fucking movies in just very small sets. And you know what? Once you know about it and you go back, you're like, oh, it makes sense now why no characters are ever more than 20 feet apart, because everything is filmed inside a very small area. But holy shit, like, you can even see as they went further along in the filming that the sets got more complex until you get to the town fight at the end where they're fighting all the stormtroopers in the town, and it looks incredible.
Yeah, it's it's crazy.
Oh my god,
it was okay.
Oh.
No, like the tech. Have you seen the
making of The Mandalorian, Connor?
I'm sure it's very technically competent.
Yeah, it's actually not that technically complicated. So the entire stage is a 360 green screen, but then they live update the background in real time. So it's not actually green screen; it's all televisions.
Yeah,
and they build the set in Unity, so in like video game assets, and then add virtual cameras.
Yeah, so like,
and then they mix in real props. Yeah, so all of the lighting is natural coming from the televisions. Everything, you would not believe how much of The Mandalorian is CGI. It's actually insane. Like 99% of everything that's happening on screen is CGI.
Yeah. Oh god, it's fantastic.
You would never know the difference if you hadn't watched. Like, I saw it and I was like, holy shit, like, the landing ramp is the only thing in that scene that was real.
Yeah.
The actors in the landing ramp, everything else was on a green screen.
Yeah, I do feel like it does give the show a little bit less tangibility.
Just go watch it. It's called The Making of the Mandalorian Part 1. It's 5 minutes long. It will blow your fucking mind.
Yeah. Stagecraft.
I cannot wait to see more movies and films doing shit that.
Like,
is that on Disney Plus or is it somewhere?
No, it's just on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? I'll get the link
stuff
for you, Rob. Like, I don't know if Connor wants to check it out. He can.
He doesn't. He just wants to be difficult.
I probably do want to be difficult.
We'll get him on it.
I mean, I like the show enough,
but just hit me with the butt. Just say butt, Connor.
I mean, there's no real butt. It's okay. It's good.
I heard that you like butts. Weren't you earlier? What was the back thing?
Bulk in the back.
Bulk in the back. Yeah, I heard that you like butts. By your own words.
I'll say this: Mandalorian was much better than the new movies. So there's that.
I would say out of all the new stuff that Disney's put out, Rogue One, Mandalorian, and then everything.
I agree. Rogue One and Mandalorian have been better than all the rest of the Star Wars stuff.
I haven't even seen the newest one. And I don't think I will.
9?
I don't think I will.
You really want to skip episode 9, unless you like watching cool raves.
I don't. I don't like anything cool, so.
Oh, so I guess you don't like my show then. Never mind. Mick, do we have a stinger to end your outro on? You got any spicy words for us? Any wisdom to enlighten Connor Hughes?
Actually, I don't think so.
I agree. It is very difficult. You can lead Connor Hughes to water, but you can't make him drink it.
Yeah.
He'll sit there and argue with you about whether drinking water is necessary.
Yeah. An endless uphill struggle. It's not worth it.
I agree. Talking to Connor Hughes is like a Promethean struggle. You always feel like your liver is being pecked out.
You guys got to talk to my wife. She would love hearing this.
Yes.
Hippie, you should be proud. My daycare moved to a new building inside of a school that we're renting the space from.
Uh-huh.
And there's carpets everywhere, and we can't spill anything on the carpet, so we can only have water in our rooms. And I have drank like 3 large tumblers of water every day
Good.
because I can't drink tea.
Good. I drank a whole liter during the show, and as soon as we get done, I'm gonna go drink another liter. Oh, I have a teleconference with my doctor tomorrow at 2. So I just want to do this for my outro. Around here, if you call your doctor's office, they're like, you can have an appointment in 3 weeks. And I'm like, okay, 3 weeks is a long ass time to wait for a doctor's appointment, but okay. Today I called and I was like, look, I didn't notice until now, but my prescriptions are running out. I'd like to talk to a doctor. And they're like, well, our office isn't open, so we can get you a telepresence tomorrow at 2:30. And I was like, I'm sorry, did you say tomorrow at 2:30? And she was like, yes. And I was like, you don't mean tomorrow in 2 weeks? And she said, no, tomorrow. And I was like, excellent.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they have someone at Rebecca's work like permanently on a telehealth thing now.
I can't wait until we all do telepresence robots. So you just keep a robot in your closet, and then whenever you call somebody, the robot activates and they act through the robot. It's like you have real social contact with people. But if you don't want to deal with them anymore, you just punch the robot. That would be my ideal social interaction with other humans. Wow, I'm really on that tonight. Oh, wow. Connor, did you just shade in the background on this bad boy right here?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know how you work your dark magic. Nice skill, Mel. Nice cloak pin. No one understands how you make art, Connor Hughes. Brad was making fun of me today in general chat about art.
I don't think Connor knows how he makes art.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Connor knows how he makes art because he's the one making it.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, you could make things without knowing how you do it, sort of.
Name one thing you can make without knowing how to make them on a regular basis, professionally.
Art. You can know.
I mean, sometimes
it's a
magic
mysterious
just happens.
process. Yeah, it's a mysterious process. I mean, specifically, like say watercolor would be.
I
like
drew
that.
2 things today that are supposed to be horses and even look like horses. I don't know how I did that. I haven't been able to replicate that up until this point.
I want to give you some spicy feedback, Connor, to cut you down to size. You ready for this?
Yep.
Your left-hand sword looks like it's more in the foreground than the right-hand sword, which is physically closer. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I got him. I got him. This is the only thing I know about art. Perspective. Connor's about to boo me, though. He's about to be like, actually, Arthur, and I'm going to be like, damn, I just got owned. Tell me about the perspective, Connor. Tell me why I'm right or wrong. I actually want to know, because I don't know if I'm right.
I don't know. They're pretty close. I mean, the problem is, this is one of those things where like it's too close, but they're the same. Let me see. I have to like measure it. Basically, the far one should be shorter, but only slightly. I mean, we're talking about a small distance.
Correct.
Well, yeah, it is shorter because if you compare, this is the origin point here of this one, and then this one, and this is the end point, and the distance here is greater than this point.
I don't think that's true. I think that those points, they're nearly the similar, or the one that's at the end is actually smaller.
No, this one over here is definitely longer than this one. I mean, I agree it's not accurate here, so I will redraw the line. So if that's where it is, it's slightly shorter, which is, I mean, given the distance that would be involved there, you really wouldn't want to make it that much shorter or longer.
I'm okay being wrong, Connor. I just wanted to say something to sound artsy because Rad was making fun of me today. He said I don't know how to communicate with artists. And then the thing he linked was Cotton going, I included a color palette and, something, something, something. And I was like, wow, that palette looks great. And Rad was like, look at Arthur, he just said that palette looks great. What a moron. And I was like, but Cotton specifically mentioned it and she's never put it in a drawing before.
What does make it look bigger is the fact that it's a wider blade.
Yeah.
Because
Connor.
this blade is
Tell me more. Yeah.
Or is going this way, right?
So you're saying your swords are not the same?
It's flatter.
If I had more scenes of action, I would see that left-hand sword is a flatter, wider sword. Okay.
No, they're about the same. They're intended to be the same. I mean, I agree they're not perfect, but no. See, this sword is being presented. This one is flatter in presentation. In this picture, he's holding it flatter, and this one is held at more of an angle. So that's why it looks wider. But you're seeing more of the kind of undulating form of this blade because, of course, you can see it more flat on.
All right, Connor. You've proved me wrong. I want to ask one more question.
Yeah.
Who are these other two characters that you drew?
I just was sketching. This guy is kind of like. Has anyone seen that movie where it's like it's a bunch of conquistadors going down in Brazil, and it's by a Dutch actor who also played Nosferatu in Nosferatu.
Nope.
Okay. Anyway, it's that guy. That is that guy. I forget what that movie's called.
And the other guy?
Just some guy.
Like the old Nosferatu, or is there a new Nosferatu?
Old Nosferatu actor.
All Nosferatus are old. That's how they became Nosferatus.
This is a black and white one.
Yeah. Well,
Max Schrenk? Or is that the director?
That sounds like the director.
that's it. No, I just mean that's it because we're done. That's the end of the show. I want to interrupt you talking, but yes, we're done.
So soon?
So soon? We went like an hour longer than I thought we would.
It feels like I've only been here for like 30 minutes or
That's
so.
because you've been here for an hour and 20 minutes.
It's the Werner Herzog one, Mick.
So that's a new one then.
Bounty hunting is a complicated and
profession.
dangerous profession.
I love that guy.
He's so good. All of the villains in Mandalorian are excellent.
They really are.
Connor's like, I want to contest that, but too bad because the show's over, Connor. We're out. Have a good night, everybody.
All right. Thanks, AP.